Congratulations, adventurers! Welcome to Incredibly Indie, a series where we showcase tabletop RPGs you've probably never heard of. This is the first stream of this new series for Roll for Felicity. I'm really excited about it. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my friend Dreamy Etude, who made this excellent new overlay for the series that has kind of indie music venue vibe is what we're going for. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I use she, her pronouns. I'm here with Angela, Cadence, and Extal, and we're playing The Last Hand by Eric Faber. I'm going to explain a little bit more about the game in a minute, but before we do that, I'd like to have my guests introduce themselves. And when I do these intros, we like to have a little intro question to get to know people a little bit better. Our question for this stream, which I'll answer first, is what kind of horror do you like? Because this is, I'm pretty sure, my first time playing a horror game on this channel, other than Vampire the Masquerade, which is kind of, it's kind of horror in a way. But I'm notoriously a scaredy cat. But I have seen and enjoyed almost all the Scream movies. The most recent ones I haven't seen yet. And I'm also a big fan of the movie It Follows, which I feel like is kind of fitting for this for this kind of adventure that we're going on this evening. I am going to throw it over to my players to introduce themselves, and we're going to start off with Angela. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello there, lovelies. It's an absolute pleasure here to be on the stream with this with the fellow cast members, and also to have been invited by Taylor, who is an absolute sweetheart to be here. If you didn't already know that, which you should. I am Angela Lemos Mogrovejo, or you can call me Nady. I go by both in equal measures in different circles. I use she, her pronouns, and I guess in terms of who I am, I'm the creative director for Girls Write These Worlds, which is the publishing house wing for the Girls Write These Worlds streaming channel, in a word. I get people to write nice things, and I tell them where they're doing yes and no on, and then publish it with nice artwork. So that's me. As far as favorite horror, it's probably going to be Silent Hill 2 specifically, as far as horror vibes, because that's such a good, as janky as I've seen the controls be, because I've never gotten the chance to play it because don't own game systems anymore. It's such a well done take on a viscerally uncomfortable subject matter, while also not having to be just gore, because I really don't like gore that doesn't understand that. I really don't like horror movies that think if you just do gore or a jump scare, that's doing horror. That feels kind of low tier to me, just saying. I'm gonna say Eli Roth, you're a hack. That's my hot take to start the stream off with, but that's me.
I like it. Cadence, do you want to introduce yourself and let us know what kind of horror you like?
No.
Why did you have to do that right when I was about to sip my tea?
I saw that and it's like, oh dear.
Putting it down.
Sorry. It's been a long time since I've talked to humans, it's been a time, hasn't it? Oh yeah, I'm Cadence. I use they, them pronouns. I'm on Twitter. That's pretty much it, at Magdalene Bloom. I used to do a lot of streaming in other people's games, but then life got in the way. So hopefully this is the start of some more fun. Horror. I like horror that is in 2 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm with Angela. I know the gore and jump scares are just, no. I want intelligent horror. We have to say, oh, they did that. Oh, yeah, fun stuff like that.
Which is good, because for this stream, we really can resort to jump scares and gore, since we'll be, doing more narrative stuff. And that just leaves Extel. Do you want to introduce? Well, I shouldn't say do you want to, because you might also
smart Alex getting away.
Who knows what you'll say? It's time for you to introduce yourself.
No choice.
No choice.
Hey, everybody, I'm Xtel. You find me at Xtro the King on social media. I'm here to play this game and have a good time. It's going to be a great time. Horror that I like. I love horror that's based off of real events. Those are my favorite ones, like The Conjuring and whatnot. So, that's what I get into late at night before I go to bed in the dark. It's all good. I'm not scared at all. I don't do that to myself because who would,
Who would do that? Not me either. I haven't seen The Conjuring and still get freaked out thinking about it.
It's like, what's behind me? No, nothing. It's just the wall.
Speaking of scary things, tonight we are playing a game called The Last Hand by Eric Faber. The Last Hand is a GM-less horror game inspired by games like Fiasco and 10 Candles. The default setting, and the setting we'll be playing tonight, is a Western, but the game does include suggestions for other settings you could use. I do believe the Kickstarter for the game, because it is kickstarting now, hit at least one stretch goal that includes another setting. Speaking of Kickstarter, if you find yourself tonight thinking, boy, I'd sure like to play this game that they're playing as you watch the stream, there's still time to back it on Kickstarter and get a copy for yourself. And the link for that is in chat. It has reached its goal and I think a couple of stretch goals, but there's still time to back it, I think a week. And the last thing I'll say before we really get into our setting and our game tonight, is there is some stuff that people in chat can do both to support the stream and to potentially affect the events that happen during the game tonight. The first thing that you can do is if there's a moment during the stream that you think like, this would be a great clip, but I don't want to go over and make a clip right now. I want to keep watching, or I'm watching on mobile, and clipping on mobile on Twitch is a nightmare. You can just put !marker, the word marker, in chat, and that'll make a stream point for me to come back to later and be like, oh, somebody thought there was something cool here. I'll go ahead and clip this. That's super helpful to me. And then, I can put that on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Twitter, etc., etc. Another thing you can do is, I do have some tip incentives for this evening. So, if you tip 500 bits or $5 US, you can introduce an NPC or location to the game. This game is GM-less, and I have done, zero prep, because it's a zero prep game. So we'll be making up locations and NPCs and things like that during the game, but if you want to get in on the fun, it's just $5. Or for 1,000 bits or $10 US, you can pick a trouble, which is a thing in the game. Basically, the main mechanic of the game is that we have a deck of cards. We'll be using these to determine the trouble that the monster is bringing to our lives and our town. And for $10, you can pick a trouble and completely get rid of it for us. Which will make more sense as we play the game. And the last thing that you can do to support the stream, congratulations, you're already doing it. Whether you're watching the stream right now, live with us on Twitch, or you're watching the VOD on YouTube later, we really appreciate your support, and we hope that you enjoy what you're about to see this evening. Speaking of, I have one last little chunk of stuff to do, and then we'll get into the world. But the text of the game includes like a piece of writing that I think is really good to get us into the game, and better than something that I could have written to come up with. So, I will read that now. Turns out Father Jenkins was right with all his doomsaying about the end of the world. Seems like the rapture was more fiery in his sermons, but whatever's out there sure as hell feels like it's punishing us. Not sure what it is, but something lurking in town has been killing most that cross its path, and driving those it don't to join in the hunt. Nobody that's seen it survives, or at least not as the same person they were. Them that don't die become its servants, lying and manipulating folks into going out and meeting the same damned fate. No way to avoid it as far as we can tell. We're just delaying the inevitable. We got a few people holed up in a safe house. Been a few days since it came. We got food and water for now, but soon we're gonna have to go outside. Pump more water from the well, find whatever food ain't rotting in the general store. Some folks are being optimistic, saying God will save us. We might just have to wait it out. Other folks are thinking these might be our last few moments in this here world. I guess all we can do is try to survive and find out who's right. Each day that passes makes me think the odds ain't in God's favor. And that is the world in which we find ourselves. So I have a question for the table. Where is our safe house in the town of Paradise? Where do you think the four of us, as well as some other people who have made it in here, where do you think we are?
My first thought was a church. Don't know why. But,
Yeah, the book does mention the church as a potential place that is like a good starting safe house, and we did talk about it right before the stream started.
There's a
so,
schoolhouse. Schoolhouse is good.
Ooh.
yeah,
Lots of
that's
rooms.
true. Go ahead.
Similar line of thinking. I was thinking a hotel, but like one of the like smaller, kind of like crappier end ones, where like more like Motel 6 kind of vibes. Mainly
Yeah.
because again, same thinking, cadence of like a spot that requires upkeep by nature of how many rooms it has, because also it means we have to check those rooms every now and then, which means more chances for us to just be like, and we open the door and there's nothing there. Okay, this is fine. And then another time we're like, okay, we open the door and it's just standing right there. I'm like, great.
Yeah. Ooh.
Looking at you from the shadows.
I do.
But yeah.
I do like the idea of a motel, and something that just occurred to me so the setting for this game is Paradise, Colorado is the state, I'm pretty sure, and I believe the year is 1912. I might be wrong about
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
And so what I was thinking, because I do like the idea of the church, and there is like kind of a vibe in this game of like some biblical themes. Maybe there's a chapel in the motel. Like maybe it's not like, it's like one of those things like at a hospital, how they like have a chapel sometimes. Maybe because of this is like the Old West and it's 1912, it's like we're in this kind of motel, but there is like a place that like, you know, maybe a traveling preacher will come and speak in there, or like a place that is kind of chapel-like. I don't know. What do people think about that?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
What do we
So,
think?
so you're thinking motel with a small chapel in it?
Yeah, and I was thinking, which of course this is just spitballing, so people feel free to like chime in with other ideas or things like that. But if we're thinking motel, I feel like then that means that the rooms are not like they're all accessible from the outside. I think is like the main difference between like a hotel and motel, right? Is like a hotel, you like go into the hotel and then there's rooms in hallways, whereas a motel, it's like it opens straight to the outside and, you know, parking lot or whatever.
Yeah, there's windows and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yes. Moment of fact, I think motels were because of cars, because
Yeah.
people are traveling more when cars became more popular. So
Yeah.
I think
So
it'd be more hotel than
motel.
A
Yeah.
cheap hotel.
What do we think about that? Do we want rooms accessible from the outdoors, or do we want like more hotel, cheap hotel versus motel?
I'm all for more danger. You know, the more prospect of danger, I'm here for it. It's like it's something you can get in. It's crazy. Put up the windows. Yeah, we got it.
Maybe they're progressive in Paradise.
they sense that the cars are coming. We're gonna do this for some reason. I think either way, I think if there's a chapel, it would be like there's like the lobby of the hotel, and then there's like a room off to the side that's like, you know, people can go and pray or do speeches. That's not what they're called. Sermons. Or speeches.
I thought you were gonna say like speed something. I was like speed dating in a chapel. That's a hell.
No, speed marriage.
Speed weddings.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, speed weddings. That's
Everybody
pretty
line
funny.
up.
Imagine.
I do. Yes. Okay. Keep going.
Next.
Next. You're married. You'll be divorced soon. You're married. You're divorced. You're married.
Yeah. Okay. So, are there any other like main things that we want to? A name for the hotel, I guess, is one question. If I don't know if anyone has ideas for that, and then any other like notable things that we want to establish before we jump into the scenes.
Heaven's Rest.
Ooh.
I was
'Cause
gonna
it's
go
in
with Providence.
paradise.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Providence, but I like
Yeah.
Heaven's Rest.
Yeah. I like Heaven's Rest.
Same brain right now. Just like,
Yeah,
oh, we
yeah.
gotta. How do we keep harping on this religious theme here? But we're all probably gonna die.
I was just gonna say Paradise Inn, but I'm way for Heaven's Rest. That's
Yeah.
Heaven's Rest is real good.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in our locations in the document. Oops, Heaven's Rest. And of course we can.
Heavenly.
Yeah, there you go. We've got a tagline. We've got the name. We can continue to establish things about Heaven's Rest as we go. But is there anything other than the chapel that people want to establish? If not, I can get us dealt in to our first hand of the evening.
Let's do it.
We start by dealing cards. So I will just hit the deal button, and everyone should have 2 cards in their hand now.
Ooh.
That's the easy part of the game. And then the next thing that happens is I will reveal 3 cards from the deck and put them face up on our shared table. Chat, you are not able to see this table, but we'll call out the cards as they come out. These cards serve as the abstract representation of the trouble that we're facing to start off the story. Their suit and value act as prompts to guide the storytelling during the scene, and the scale of challenge the characters face. So the higher the cards, the more dangerous the trouble, and the suit determines the type of trouble that it is. So first we have the 9 of clubs. Next we have the 2 of spades, and third we have the 4 of clubs. So our first 3 troubles, violence, so clubs represent violence, physicality, or vigor, as trouble clubs are a physical danger that could lead to injury or death. And then spades are thought, fear, or problem solving. As trouble, spades are a puzzle or lock or a forced shift in the perception of reality. So I get to kind of decide, like for our first scene, what our initial trouble is. I think maybe before. Also to give me time to think, let's maybe start with an establishing kind of shot, maybe, or like series of shots of each of our characters, I think, and like what they're doing in the hotel. Like the game basically assumes that by the time the scenes start, we're already hunkered down in the safe house. We already know there's something out to get us. So it almost starts at kind of like, if this was a horror movie, it skips kind of the like, something's wrong. It kind of skips that portion, and it's like, oh, we're about to be killed. It really jumps right in. Yeah. So does anybody have an idea of what their character might be doing in the safe house as we start our story? And if you do, you can kind of describe your character, describe what they're doing, like where in the hotel they are, if they're working on something.
Morgan would be in one of the rooms, sitting on one of the beds there. He has on his full attire, which he almost never changes out of, besides taking off the trench coat every once in a while. Other than that, he has on his 3-piece suit and his hat, and his belt that holds his weapon. And he's sitting there with a knife, and he's whittling the stick. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, I like that. What about Angela, your character, or Cadence, your character? You know what they would be up to?
I think Caleb is in the kitchen, sort of flirting. Who's ever in there? I don't know.
I do have a pitch for you, which is I think I was going to say that I think Tilly is in the kitchen. Like that was what I was going to have her kind of be doing. So if you want, she is an engaged woman, but I feel like that's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I mean,
but...
not abject. Like your fiance isn't here, so yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But just chatting.
Yeah. And what does Caleb look like for the benefit of chat?
Oh gosh, he's a couple years younger than me, in his mid-20s. He works as like a handyman, jack of all trades. So he's just mostly grubby, wearing holey jeans and basic work shirt. And, just ordinary.
Yeah, I think since we're in the same place, I can go and describe Tilly, who is kind of a I said this when I was describing to everyone else. I'm more and more I'm playing characters that just kind of look like myself. So she does not look like me. She has brown hair that's like usually pretty messy, and I think kind of short for the time period. And I think that there's a lot of like pushing it out of her face. And is in the kitchen kind of, I think, trying to do her best with the food that we have right now. I think it's not necessarily to the point where it's like, we're in like a lot of like, I don't think it's like we're in immediately like we're about to run out of food, but I think it is a thing where she's like kind of like cutting out like the bad parts of the potato, and like kind of like things are not really as good as they could be, and she's trying to make it make it stretch as much as it can. And I feel like she's just kind of ignoring Caleb. I think if Caleb were to say, like, your fiance is not here right now, I think he would get a very dark look from Tilly.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, her fiance is not in the safe house, hasn't made it here yet, and she doesn't really know where he is. But otherwise, I think she's kind of just, like, not really talking, just kind of, like, trying to do, the best with what she can in this kitchen. And is a little jumpy. Is a little on edge. Which just leaves us with one more character. Angela, what do you think your character's up to?
I think very similar. Like if we imagine the camera doing like a pan shot to each of our scenes, so one is Morgan looking very crisp and clean on his bed, and then the failed flirtation between Caleb and Tilly. I think Saris is probably like she's gotten up from bed maybe a little bit later than folks, but that's like a rare thing to have her happen. She does not sleep very often or very well. And so I think the bags under her eyes don't look as bad as they normally do. And she's probably come in a bit late to do the taking stock of like the food stuff. If it works for you, Taylor, I kind of imagined that like it's normally Saris doing this, but maybe Tilly or Caleb were like, we'll cover for you. It's fine. Go actually sleep for once, you fucking goober.
Yeah, I like that.
But she just started coming in. Tilly, basically, she was inspired a lot by Tess from The Last of Us. So she has kind of like late 30s, like kind of like mid 40s age. She looks a bit older, in part because her hair has grayed significantly and much earlier in terms of like the severity of it than you would expect. And she She definitely looks like she's got a lot of like experience in terms of like bruises, scrapes. She's got the look on her face of someone who's seen a lot of shit, and kind of like done up more like her hair's long enough. She either has to do it up in like a practical bun or just a long ponytail, whichever one takes less effort for her on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think she's like seeing about what first steps to her next meal is going to be for the day, probably around like lunchtime or something. That's kind of how I'm imagining her coming in. She definitely has the same look she always has, which is somewhere between mild anxiety and troubled.
Yeah. Ooh, I think that has 3 of us in the kitchen. One of the problems, I think, so basically the way the next aspect of play goes, is the dealer kind of has the ability to set what the troubles are, of course, with input from other people. And then Angela, you after we decide what these troubles are, you get to introduce the first blind, which is kind of heightening or complication of that trouble. And then it would go to Xtel to add another blind. After that, we can start playing our community cards to try to take care of them. This goes in and out of roleplay, of course. But I think the first trouble is a 9 of clubs. So I feel like that's got to be a pretty imminent danger, and it is a physical danger. I think maybe the first thing that happens is, as we're all kind of like trying to take stock of everyone except for Morgan, I should say, who's not in the kitchen, but the rest of us are kind of trying to take stock and like figure out how much food we have. I think maybe there's, I don't know what this would look like. I'm not an expert on the turn of the century, but maybe a fire in the kitchen, like either like something's malfunctioning or like something that we're preparing like catches fire, and like before we have really even like realized it, it's kind of like there's like kind of a big fire in the kitchen that maybe it's even like a very quick thing, like it's like Tilly's like frying some like potatoes or something like that, and
Grease.
like the grease catches. Yeah. So I think that if people are cool with that, I think that might be the first imminent thing. And then we have another physical trouble that's not as imminent, and then we do also have a puzzle. I think the puzzle aspect could be that there is a fire kit somewhere, but none of us worked at this hotel, so none of us know where it is, because it's only a 2 that's pretty easily solved. And then does anyone have an idea of what another like violent thing that could be happening that's not as dire as the fire, because we have a 4 of clubs?
I mean, depending on if we want it to be less dire or if we want to build off of what the fire that's already there, just breathing to actually deal with the situation where the fire is at. Because if it's a contained space in the kitchen, even if there's a door leading out to it, like if we're trying to resolve it in there, it's gonna, because there's probably an opening to get in there and it's not an entirely closed off space, there's probably some time before it gets too terrible, but you don't really necessarily have a lot of time to handle breathing in a space where fire is slowly like taking out all the oxygen in the room. So that's going to be a pressing thing if we don't deal with the fire quickly. That's what's going to, I think, exacerbate that trouble later on.
I think going along with that, because I like the smoke, and I think the danger of like, breathing. I think the other thing we get, so we're kind of like setting the scene that like it's tense, but not an unfriendly like demeanor in the room, and then Tilly makes the wrong move. This grease goes up, smoke immediately, like I'm sure it catches on something else.
She throws water on the fire.
That's what I was thinking.
On grease fire.
Yeah. Just water,
or it could just be someone else accidentally like drops something that is mostly water soluble or water based that aggravates it. Because either way, that's going to aggravate the fire a
And
lot.
I'm sure there's a lot of things like around that are like very flammable in here because again, none of us like necessarily worked here or like have that much experience with like this kitchen. And I think the last thing I'll introduce as like a part of the initial trouble, going along with like the trouble breathing, is some smoke. Like we see like if this was like a TV show or movie, we would get like an insert shot of smoke coming out through like a vent or something like that in the kitchen and going up into the air outside of the hotel, potentially letting people know that that people are here.
With a hint of a face.
Yeah. So at any time between now and the end of this scene, first Angela and then Extel, you can introduce more complications having to do with the fire. But yeah, I think Tilly like does just like panic and just like throw some water on it. The kind of the flames go up, things are catching, and she's just like panicking. Did not expect for this to be happening.
I imagine from the room Morgan's in, he hears a chirp coming from his pocket. What? Oh crap! And he comes rushing over to the kitchen and sees the fire and starts trying to help. What happened?
I don't know. I was just working on making some potatoes for all of us, and Caleb, what did you do?
Me, I did nothing. I was just sitting here on the counter, and all of a sudden, poof, and yeah, it wasn't me. I wasn't. Yeah, no.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is. We just got to put it out. Oh gosh, it's getting tough to. Does anybody have any ideas?
Well, before anything, there's like a very, I imagine it's like a very like cutting through the like tension of that moment that's starting to build. It's not super high just yet, but it's like starting. It's like, hold on, before we get any, we need to everyone needs to get out of this room. If we're gonna go back into this, let's not stay here and deal with the trouble right now. Or at the very least, she's like grabs like Tilly and like pulls her out of the room. And I think as first go for this, I'm gonna cover using a 4 of Hearts, which that suite is humanity, empathy, or life. I think Tilly probably hears Saris just like feels Saris like grab her hands. It's like, look, if you panic, this is gonna get much worse. Stay calm. No, don't.
And I think
slow.
She's like coughing as she's trying to.
Slow. Long. Slow. Long. You know where the fire kit is. Don't forget that you know that. Go find it. The rest of us will try and take care of this, but try and go find it. Okay?
I think Tilly like thinks for a second and then like just it runs off towards like the lobby area. And Angela, I will also say, we're doing things a little bit out of order, I think, but do you have, with having solved that problem, do you have a complication for one of the other, either the fire or the smoke?
I think actually I'm gonna play off the bird motif that Morgan has introduced character-wise with previous character creation things we've done, and that as the smoke has appeared and like as she probably walks you out to help you like figure out like, okay, which one of the rooms did we like keep it in, because there might be like a couple rooms that we keep like emergency supplies in, because like I imagine it's not so filled up in the motel that we've chosen for our safe house, that there isn't some spots we can just keep as like specific supplies should be kept in there for emergency situations. But I think as she's heading out and as she sees the smoke still starting to build out of the room, out from the kitchen, I think you just hear caws coming from nearby. And like almost like they're appearing out of the smoke very slowly, there are some birds that are starting to rest on the top of the motel. They're not doing anything, but they're just yet. But they have the very classic like old school Resident Evil effect of like if you touch the wrong thing, all of the birds are about to attack you. And I think it's that vibe of like they're just staring. Yeah. They're not doing anything. They're just occasionally cawing. They're just staring. Yeah. And they all look like they've come out of the smoke. Like you didn't hear any wings flapping. You didn't see anything come here. They just appeared out of the smoke.
Very scary.
So that is my blind, is that the complication is the smoke has now made other birds appear.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so I think it sounds like Tilly and Saris have left the kitchen, which leaves Caleb and Morgan still in there. Morgan, if you can think of another complication, that'll be your blind. But otherwise, what are the two of you doing?
Morgan is okay, no, Saris is right. We need to get out of here. It was hard to breathe in here. Back up. We gotta find something to like cover our faces before we can put that fire out. And that's just what he's gonna say to Caleb as he's feeling like frustrated and just like not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Simple solution. Opens the window. Let the smoke out. Simple solution to a complicated problem. But the wind also blows in, and now we can see the fire much
better. Good.
I just got an idea for a complication. We put these. Do we add a card to
the blinds? You don't add a card. You just think of something to like complicate one of the other cards. So we have the kit is in the process of being solved by Saris and Tilly, who are going to look for a way to find that to help put the fire out. The fire is something that you can add a complication to, or the smoke you could add a complication to. Just out of your own mind. You don't have to have a card or anything.
Awesome. I'm gonna say that one of some of the like chemicals per se that are in the kitchen.
Oh.
That we keep in the kitchen have burst and evaporated into the smoke as the fire has done these things to them, and it makes it even harder to breathe, like this choking and a little bit like it's a little rough on the throat.
I think definitely with that, who would be a good person to bring into this? I'll say Caden/Caleb. You had this NPC that you kind of introduced in your backstory, who is Widow Blackthorn. Do you think she's in the safe house?
Most likely, yeah.
I feel like that's like a character that is kind of a little bit of I feel like you kind of set her up as like kind of an antagonistic character.
Yeah.
So I think maybe as like the smoke now I'm imagining is like pretty much filled the kitchen. It's billowing out this window. It's getting into the hall. And she it like comes out of her room and is like, what on God's green earth? And like the smoke just kind of like starts to overtake her, and like we just hear the sounds of coughing. as more and more people who are in the safe house are kind of like, news is getting out. People are smelling the chemicals in the fire and maybe starting to panic. At this point now, people can start or continue to play if they have cards in their hand to cover up some of our troubles. And anytime you can choose to do that. But I think maybe since you played the card, Saris, where do you think the kit to like put out the fire, where do you think that is in the hotel?
It's probably because when I'm thinking of motel, I'm thinking kind of like the almost like two stories in the sense of like there's like a second floor of like rooms possible and then like a first floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, this I know we're going to earlier, more turn of the century kind of vibes, but I'm imagining still like it's like half a staircase, really much taller than the second room. It's not particularly high up or what have you. None of the rooms are great, but I imagine it's like a ground floor, probably 3 or 4 rooms over, because I'm imagining anywhere from like 5 to 7 rooms on one floor and the same amount in the second one.
Mm.
And then there's like the main building that is like, it has the potential to like have a room. It has the check-in, then it has like the like host room for like, this is where breakfast is served, because I'm building off of my own vibes from like contemporary hotels now, but also kind of then it's supposed to be built off of based off like motor hotel kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it's just a few rooms over, but it's still that kind of thing where it was like a lot of the time was initially just making sure Saris pulled Tilly out of it and just calmed her down first. So more of the like time lapse is less about distance and more about making sure Tilly's in this state of mind to actually focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Tilly, like as you've kind of calmed her down, takes a second. The smoke is like kind of, filling the air. I like grab your hand. I'm like, oh, I just remembered where I last saw something, and like kind of pull Saris with me to wherever this room is, and grab a kit that I think would have like some kind of like not a blanket, but like something that, because that is how you can put out grease fires, is like smother it basically. So something that's like, this is made of asbestos or whatever that you use to smother fire. And some other things like probably, like water, but which is obviously not a good idea. And grabs that and heads back over to the kitchen. However, I really don't have the best cards to play as we're heading back in there. And I have to look and see, is this a good time for me to add a turn or a river? Yeah, let's do that. So the dealer deals additional problems other than just the first 3. So since I can't solve a problem, I think I will add one. And I think I know exactly what it is. So I just drew the 4 of diamonds. Diamonds represent wealth, assets, or tools. As trouble, diamonds are a dangerous object or the loss of a helpful one. I think by the time whenever, even if we're able to put the fire out, the stove is completely destroyed. Like, we will not be able to use this in the future from this fire, which is just exacerbating our problem with food. So we run back into the kitchen, and like even trying to put out the fire with the thing, we can see that like the stove is ruined. It's not really going to be useful. Does anyone have cards from your hand that you would like to try to play on top of ones that on top of the troubles? I'll just to refresh people's memories, the way that those cards work is they can be any suit. So it doesn't have to be like a matching suit. For example, Angela put the 4 of hearts on top of the 2 of spades, which is you can. It just has to be a higher number. So, for example, if someone had a 10, you could put it on top of this 9. If someone had a 5 or higher, you could put it on top of the 4s. If you play a face card, you solve that trouble, but there's a complication, which I believe means you add another card to the trouble. And if you play an ace, that's basically like a critical success. Ace is the best card. And if you play a joker, the scene ends immediately with all the trouble unresolved. The reason why you would play a joker is because spoiler alert, if you end the game with the joker in your hand, that is the worst possible outcome for your character. So you want to get rid of them, but playing them is pretty bad. And then the suit basically determines like the manner in which you solve the problem. So the number has to be higher than the number of the trouble, and the suit determines kind of the roleplay aspect of it. So with that being said, does anybody have cards that they want to try to play to solve any of these problems?
Yeah, I'll play the 8 of spades on that 4.
Yeah. So the 4 was representing the smoke, which I
Yep.
like. I like that you've solved whatever you're doing has solved the problem of the smoke.
Open the window and just like waving plates to
Yeah.
or tea towel or something.
Yeah. So the smoke is no longer an issue. We
Still
do
watching
still
the
have
fire.
the
Make sure it's not getting bigger. You don't want it to get bigger, do you?
All right, I got one here. You said face cards solve something, but
Yeah.
add further complication in solving that.
Yes, correct.
I'm gonna play this king on the
Good.
king of spades on the fire, and so what Morgan is gonna do is he's gonna smother the fire with something, but the complication that it brings is that the things that he smothered, basically before he was able to get it out all the way, all the food was just lost.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna read something for the benefit of us and for chat. Okay, so when players use them, face cards represent critical success that brings consequence that further complicates things. As community cards, they're a little bit different. After playing a face card, we reveal a new card from the deck and add it to the community cards in place of the card that was covered. And kings, when they are played, mean so jacks, queens, and kings each have different kind of things that happen with them. For kings, actually I'll read it in order. Jacks played mean it, which is the monster of the story, indirectly brings trouble by adding something new to the scene. It may have sent followers to the safe house or left a gift to be discovered outside. Whatever it did, something has changed for the worse. Queens mean it indirectly causes trouble from the inside. Someone or something that has been here all along is revealed to be a threat, or a character's past come back to haunt them. It hasn't added anything new, only shed light on a dangerous unknown. Kings mean whatever the trouble is, it comes directly to you. You might not recognize it, or it might be hiding its true form, but it's there and causing trouble. When it's played as a card from your hand, it's not quite as dire for a face card as it is if it's revealed as a trouble card. But I really like your like idea of like the further complication is something with the food, which I will put out here. So the new card to replace the 9 is still a better situation. It's only a 5, a 5 of clubs. So what do you think in this food being destroyed? What is a hint that maybe none of us see, but the audience sees, or it can be something that we see, it's up to you, that shows that it is the reason behind what has just happened?
I feel like in the scorch marks left behind by the fire, there's a like wicked form
Ooh.
that has like spread its hands over all of the things in the kitchen.
Ooh. That's good. That's really good.
May I add on to that, Morgan?
Yeah.
The last thing Morgan sees before the fire goes completely out, the smoke takes the form of it takes a humanoid shape, but it has wings on its back, and they look like smoky raven wings. So, but it's like looking right at you right at the end, and then it just, as you take it out, it's like, "Hi, buddy. How's it going? You ready to be fucked up later?"
Morgan's just gonna shake his head and I did not. No, we're fires out, everybody.
Very good.
I'm choosing to ignore it.
I'm gonna turn over one last thing. Oh, I think I know exactly what this is. This is the river, so it's the last card that the dealer turns over, which means the scene's kind of coming close to a resolution. But I turned over the 2 of clubs, and I'll put it to the table. Would you prefer that during that scene that Morgan was injured or that Tilly was injured? Because we were the 2 that had the most like direct like interaction with the fire.
I feel like Morgan would be, because he was like literally like covering the fire with whatever he could find.
Yeah. Oh.
I imagine it was like his trench coat or some like thick cloth that he was like covering it and trying to pat it down. So I imagine he got like burns on his hands or on his arms.
I think if it weren't for what Morgan just saw, this wouldn't mean anything to you. But I think as you're kind of like patting things out, you do have a burn on your arm that the card's only a 2, so it's nothing life-threatening. And I think if you hadn't seen what you'd just seen, maybe you would think, oh, this is just kind of a weird coincidence, and maybe the way that the cloth caught. But the burn, the pink mark on your arm from it, almost looks like the shape of a feather. Like it has like the kind of lines. And it's just like on like your forearm, this burn. Yeah.
He covers it up with his other hand, and he has his other hand there the entire time for the rest of the
game.
he's just holding it.
Yeah.
He gets a cool new set of like gloves, like he's a dealer at like an actual table. We're just like, you know what? Me getting hurt just upgrades how fucking cool I look every time.
The name of the game is Texas Hold'em, everybody.
Good. Yeah, so that's the last trouble that's introduced by the dealer during the scene. We do have 3 troubles left. One is the destruction of the food, the destruction of the stove, and then Morgan's injury. So if anyone during kind of the aftermath of like the fire has like things that they want to try to play to help take care of any of those troubles, we can. I'll leave it open to you all.
I have one card that can do one thing right here.
Oh, perfect.
Morgan's just gonna he found some bandages, and he's gonna just put some aloe vera on and then bandage the wound, and keep it covered for as long as it needs to be healed.
Yeah. So for people in chat, Morgan played 3 of diamonds on top of the 2 of clubs. So
I forget to say it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Just so I really like that it's like this creepy, like, you know, scary looking mark on your arm, and you just immediately like set to wrapping it up with something. And I think Tilly has like gone over to the stove and is like, oh, now look, I don't think we're gonna be able to cook anything on this. Saris, do you think, does this look like something that can be repaired?
Not with what, I don't know. I would have to talk to Caleb. Caleb's probably got more experience with this than I do. Do you have any thoughts on this, Caleb? I'm leaning towards no, but I don't know. I'm not the. This isn't exactly my wheelhouse.
I mean, we could, give it a go, look at it, see what's what. Yeah.
Okay, well, it looks like it's gonna be cold oatmeal for dinner tonight.
And there's another problem with just about out of food now. Fire burned it all up, just about. Gonna have to go on a run.
Gonna be no oatmeal for dinner tonight.
Things are not looking great. What a beautiful morning, though. It is all. It is nice outside for what today is.
Oh yeah, what time? I don't think we've established this. What time of year do we think it is? Like, what do we think the weather is kind of like?
Do we want to make it really hard on ourselves and just make it winter, or do we want to make this like, hey, everybody, it's nice, things are great, it's like spring and summer, and we're suffering.
It's summer and we're suffering. I do.
Not only is it hot outside, but there was just a fire, and we have no air conditioning.
Yeah. No winter, please. I'm in Wisconsin, and
okay, no.
This time of year is, oh my God.
Out of respect for our Wisconsinite, but no winter.
Let's go fall.
Oh, fall. Okay. Let's do fall.
Yeah.
Oh, fall would work too for like risk of like if there's any brush or anything nearby for other fires as well.
True.
So that would also be like a lingering issue we have.
That's true. Yeah.
And crops are coming ripe, so we can go foraging.
Yeah.
See if anybody has stuff.
Yeah.
Morgan just grabbed the fire and threw it outside.
We'll put this fire here with the other fire. Do you think, I know you just said that out of character cadence, but do you think, since we were just talking about food, do you think Caleb would like suggest like, oh, maybe we could go like forage for something?
Oh yeah. I was at this, oh God, I don't know his name, the farm over there, and they got, this huge garden. And
Farmer John.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, yeah, they got, so
I haven't
maybe.
seen him in a while, so he might be, gone.
Even better.
Might have food, a lot of food stockpiled in there. It'd be worth a look.
And maybe I could keep an eye out for Paul. Maybe he's got the same thoughts, looking for something. Yeah,
I can go make a run for it. Because between you and me, I don't. I imagine some of this is talking like outside, but like takes a second, like looks up above, and then kind of just like puts a finger to her mouth and like indicates to go inside. I don't trust that. And like notes the birds that have been there. That I think I'm imagining as the smoke is gone, but the birds are still there.
Yeah, I like that.
Probably a good idea to have this conversation elsewhere.
I agree. I don't like that. Why don't? Yeah, let's give it a shot. Why don't I go? I think I can deal with the food problem.
I don't think you should go by yourself.
I'd rather only one of us risk it, though.
Yeah, but
Morgan's already hurt, and Caleb's got more experience with knowing stuff around here. At least if I go, like, we're not losing both or even the most important person when it comes to like crop management.
But Saris, if you go by yourself, there's not going to be any witnesses to make sure that it's really you that's coming back.
I have my charm. Is that enough for you?
That's what
You'll
I'm
know
worried
it's me
about.
if I come back. Here, if I don't,
I'll go with you because I'm not that hurt. Maybe these old bones may be somewhat not as good as they used to be, but well, I can I could take a licking or two, so it's totally fine.
Caleb?
What if you come up with like something to say when you come back, so you know that we know that you are you, and maybe if you're not you, then you won't know it. But then again, maybe you'll still have your brain and still know it. But anyway, yeah.
My kid's name is Julia. If I don't say Julia,
All right.
then it's not me. So what the reason I'm setting that up is that I am, oh god, let's play for fun, not for a long time. We're here for a good time, a long time. She is going to spend, I'm gonna put the Jack of Diamonds on the food threat, which is the one of the most pressing things. So she is going to risk like going to like the farmer's like spot to where some of the crops are to get us more food.
Yeah.
But because it is a big run, and I think she is able to even get like maybe like a car or like something else that can like pretty, like it's beat up. It's not going to get actually any mileage or anything of that sort on it. This is probably like an earlier busted up model of it, but or hell, even if she's just like a carriage or something, she found some horses to bring stuff. Yeah, maybe her horse carriage kind of stuff. Yeah, she's able to like bring like not a wheelbarrow, but like I'm forgetting words for like crop cart.
Yeah.
Like she found horses over there. She has a cart, and I think we were right that we did get stuff. But I think partway through dealing with stuff, using a face card, as we talked about earlier, it does introduce a complication.
Mm-hmm.
And I used Jack, which says it indirectly brings trouble by adding something new to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Or left a gift to be so it could be either it sent followers to the safe house or left a gift to be discovered inside. Whatever it did, something has changed for the worse. So I think because it's wealth, asset, or tools when it's a diamond, I think the process of her getting away with the horses, she just saw like a fully like it kept changing appearances, and she doesn't even know if she got a good look at it, but she felt something trying to grab her off of the horses and leading them.
Yeah.
And all she can best describe it as is it's like talons, like something is trying to like pull her off, and the result of that is she lost her backpack and her messenger bag.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that'll be represented by this 8 of Hearts, because when you use any face card, it introduces a new trouble. So that goes off to the side. So you lost your stuff. I kind of feel like we're getting into like, it feels like this is a good end to the scene.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so what do you think it looks like as Ceres comes back to the hotel? I think that's the like visual that we get as we wrap up the scene.
I think honestly there is a sense of she does not realize how banged up she got from something trying to pull her off of the carriages. I think that's because it says it left a gift, or it is indirectly influencing.
Yeah.
I think Ceres has not mentioned it yet, but says when she comes back on the horses, Julia, I promise, it's me.
Morgan puts away his gun.
but like she, with holding up her hands, like she's got like talon marks all across her arms and everything, and she's not noticing anything. And I think after she comes back, there is a moment or two of almost like it looks like she's dissociated for a bit.
Yeah.
And in her head, she's seeing like she's hearing a bird song, and she's hearing a little kid going by.
Yeah. I like that. So that at the end of a scene, the first thing is actually I don't know if it matters what order. We get to discard all these troubles that we dealt with. Go to the discard pile. We do have 2 remaining, which is that we don't have a stove, and Saris has lost all of her stuff basically, and is pretty shaken up about it. And then also the dealer gets to add something to the section in our doc called "It is out there," and I think I am just gonna steal what Angela said and says the thing that we know about it now is it has talons. Whatever else is true about it, it has talons. So I will put that there. And let me just check and make sure that I am.
We just hear a victory screech from Outlet Institute.
Yeah. Okay, so we go at the end. Once the players cannot or do not want to play any cards anytime after the river in the story, dealer may end the scene. Any community cards that have been covered or discarded, I did that. If there are any cards left uncovered, the scene ends with trouble unresolved. Make a note of what the trouble is in the story. Keep the community cards on the table. I add a detail to "It is out" to it. And play passes. And passes the dealer chip to. This says the left because it's assuming we're playing in person, but it's more accurate to say to the right. Which means, Angela, it's your turn to start the scene. What's happening?
So, let's. I think it's player. Everyone, get your 2 cards before we get into anything else. So.
Yeah. If you just click deal, it should deal it to everybody. Yep.
Why do you keep giving me these cards? Why the fuck do you keep giving me these cards? Why are you making my life harder on me, game? So everyone gets their 2 cards. So unused cards are always retained from the previous scene. There's no maximum hand size as a reminder to everyone because you will need it for the final hand or the last hand.
The last hand. Yeah.
And then the last hand. Everyone turn like you're in a movie and going,
The last hand. We said it. We said the name of the game.
We said the thing there. Therefore, so then it begins with the introduction of community cards to the table and stakes. So I think regardless, this is going to be 3 cards. So 1, 2, 3. So these are additional troubles.
Oh, good.
Why game? So viewers, for your benefit, we have a king of diamonds. So it's a dangerous object at the loss of a helpful one. We have a 7 of clubs, which is a violence related one, and then we have a jack of spades, which is a puzzle problem solving or shift in perception of reality, which is going to be great for me since I'm already having a shift in reality.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fucking great.
In addition,
Kings can only be.
Kings
can only be broken by an ace.
Yeah.
Yes. So that'll be good. The other thing is when face cards are introduced to as community cards, which are the troubles. That still follows the things like when you're playing them. So jacks, which we have one of, may mean it indirectly brings trouble by adding something new to the scene. So again, it may have left a gift, sent followers to the safe house, whatever it did, something has changed for the worse. Kings, again, mean it comes directly to you. You might not recognize it, it may be hiding its true form, but it's there and causing trouble. Kings can only be resolved with aces. So with those things in mind,
all right, let's see what kind of thing I can say. I'll build off of these for our trouble. God damn it. I drew the worst set for us.
Yeah, pretty bad. I mean, not a Joker, I guess. Joker,
but it's
pretty bad.
Saying I didn't get my head chopped off doesn't make me feel better about my arm being chopped off. Just noting that for the record.
More than fair.
But okay, yeah. I think to set the pace, so I think we're starting to unload everything. There's still the threat of stuff, of like the birds are still there. I think that's just present. It's just Hitchcock is dancing happily from the grave at this moment for everything happening. But I think it says wealth, assets, or tools, which is the loss of a helpful one.
Yes, or
I
introduction of a dangerous object. So it can be something taken away, or it can be something dangerous added.
I think I know something that's the loss of a very helpful asset here. Health is a very important asset to the group. I think a couple people are sick and need medication. I think we've been having a couple days of like strained food.
Yeah.
Because we've established that like food has been starting to become a more pressing problem for us.
Yeah.
I think a couple people are not handling it well, or some folks are maybe even in a case of like maybe needing like insulin or something like that. Something where you need well, maybe not insulin because of the time period and such, but like someone is sick enough that we need to, blood sugar, that we need to go get something like more substantial. Otherwise we are going to lose a whole member who is hiding out here.
You need their actually ear nail. You know, hammer that nail in there, fix that cold.
I'm sorry, Taylor. I think it's Paul. That's why we haven't seen him.
Oh, so do you think we find Paul? Is that what you're saying? That we find Paul outside? Outside of the
Tilly finds Paul in the midst of. We have the good news of getting the food that we lost, and the fire is good, and you find him like passed out.
Ooh, I like that, and I think since this is a king, right?
It's a bad one, so he's not in a good. He's very much like this has to be addressed soon, or he's gonna die.
Yeah, I think he's like unconscious. Like I think this is like a situation where like we find him and he is like not responsive. What were you gonna say, Extel?
I was gonna say, is this because it says kings mean it comes directly to you. So would he be it in disguise, and is this the reason why everybody's getting sick? Because he's there spreading like a plague.
Oh God, that makes it worse.
I like that.
Why?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, that makes it so much worse.
Very Stranger Things energy.
I like it, but also that makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
It's a terrible one. It has to be.
But no, it's king. It's the kind of thing where like we need a big thing in our favor to even get through this. So yeah, I think it might be the case where maybe Tilly finds him and is is like panicking.
Yeah.
But maybe you also, the only good that comes out of finding him for that part of the trouble is that it's not him, but that's an even worse sign that it's already been among us.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the danger is Tilly doesn't see.
Oh, she doesn't know?
Yeah, that she just is like, he's sick. And so she's just like completely blinded by her affection for him, and that this is what she wants. She wanted to find him. She wanted him in the safe house. So she's very like, this is Paul. He's just, in a coma. We need to take care of him. What were you going to say though, Cadence?
I was envisioning when, the smoke went up into the sky, and then it went and into Paul.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
He's like getting close to be.
Yeah.
If he was just getting close to finding his way there, and then
Yep.
Great. I chose to be part of this willingly. I have made a mistake. Oh God.
Good. So
that's the worst thing that could happen. Yeah,
that's one card. You've got two more cards.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I've made a problem for myself.
And it's not as bad because it's a 7, but it's still pretty bad because it's a 7.
I think I have a guess. Depending on who would be interested, I would volunteer Saris for it. But if anyone has any other ideas, the thought I'm thinking is that someone, like, no one should really be alone right now, because I assume Tilly is like worried about Paul and was like, oh, I have to make sure he's not alone.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple minutes, and it's like, I don't trust any of us being more than like 30 seconds worth away. And I think Saris might have gone to go check up, and I think pulled Tilly away, but whatever this fake Paul is lashed out, and I think her arm is broken.
Oh.
It would keep reiterating the new element of like this. There's medical concerns that are going to be facing the whole group now. The first immediate one now is now I have a broken arm, so I can't do as many things anymore.
Yeah.
So, because it's a violence one, it's violence, physicality, or
Yeah.
vigor. So this is, and it's pretty high up there. It's not a face card, but it's still pretty bad. So I think because you
Yeah.
can splint an arm, like you can, like that's manageable. But in the moment, like pulling Tilly away and us being aware something is here,
Yeah.
or us having the sense that like, actually, you know what it could have been? It could have been like it was about to lash out at Tilly, and that's
Oh, I like.
because you don't see it.
Yeah. So Tilly can still kind of be like, I don't know what happened. And maybe even be like, oh, what if I'm mad at Saris? Because I think you pulled me out of there for no reason. You did something and hurt yourself because I refuse to be like, oh, well, Paul wouldn't do that. So that leads to like, you did something so selfless to step in the way of me getting hurt, and then I just don't see it at all.
Yeah, I think it's like a moment of like I'm imagining like Paul is talking to you. It's like or like is passed out, or at least
Mhm.
looks passed out, and maybe Tilly's like starting to panic, and then is not noticing that like wings or like talons are coming out of the hand,
Yeah.
and then Saris comes in and is like, "Oh fuck, no, Tilly, no, Morgan, Caleb, help!" And just like comes in, pulls you out, and then it just lashes, and you just hear like
Yeah.
huge fracture in her arm.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to like pull you out with her only good arm out of the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Morgan, please tell me you have a gun. Please tell me you have a gun.
I do indeed. I do not have much ammo, and I can like reload this.
Please be a good shot then.
5 more times at the max. But
she's probably just outside the room trying to deal with her arm being broken with Tilly next to her.
Yeah, I think Tilly is like, I think because I'm mad and because I don't understand what just happened, I'm like trying to, I think when other people like come to the situation, I'm like trying to like get back into the room. Like I imagine you've pulled me out and like closed the door. Like this is one of the hotel rooms or something, and you pulled me out and closed the door. And so I'm trying to open it back up and like just cussing you out up and down, just like so mad. And just being like, he can't be alone right now. He's barely
It's
conscious.
not him.
And
It's not fucking him. Do you think he's strong enough to break my arm?
I don't know what you did. You pulled me out of there. You bumped into something. I don't even know what. Like, why
Just a
would you?
claw mark in the fucking break, like loud pop noise of my arm fucking dislocating, and then the fucking thing being broken sound like something of me just bumping into a wall.
I don't know your life, Saris.
Right. Thanks.
well, the fact of the matter is that something is going on here, and I don't think we should keep him in that room if what Sarah says is correct. Just on the off chance. If it's not, then we owe him an apology, but better safe than sorry, I say.
We're not gonna be able to apologize to him if he's dead. He's barely breathing in there.
Are you sure it wasn't just like, one of those spasm things that people do when they're like sick? And
Yeah, this is true. That does happen sometimes.
Yeah, I think.
and people can get like extra strength or some such. Yeah.
If that's the case, then I'm going back in there. I'm not going to be letting him have a seizure or spasm without anybody beside him.
How about we compromise? Not alone.
I
Not
don't
just
care
you
who
two.
comes with me. I'll go in there with anybody. I just am not going to leave Paul in there by himself.
All right, I'll come in there with you this time. Caleb, maybe you can help Sarah tend to her wounds.
Yeah, we can set that. No problem.
Sure. Great. That's a comfort to me right now while it fucking hurts.
I can fix anything.
I'm
I have
aware.
most faith in you. Yeah, I believe it.
I think for the last bit of the trouble, using the last card, I think seeing me having to be walked down with Caleb, and we need to tend to it, because right now it's like we haven't actually reached the point of like setting it, because we need to see if we even have the supplies right now to do it.
Yeah.
But I did see that the suit for spades says thought, fear, or problem solving. I think there is a wave of panic hitting whoever else is seeing us, because it's a jack, so that's a significant one. So now like people are worried that like something is immediately here.
Yeah.
So I think that's the state where we're finding ourselves in, is that something is in that room and we just solve it. My arm is broken, and there is palpable panic starting to spread amongst the group.
Yeah.
After seeing four people just have an argument about whether something or not is true themselves in another room, I would also, like, if I was just there, I'd be like,
excuse me, you want to clarify that? You want to repeat that statement to me?
What do you mean by that? Okay.
People are starting to spread rumors and say, but I heard this. And
Exactly.
And he has 7 arms.
Yeah.
Telephone.
So at this point, now that we know what the troubles are, it's up to Morgan and Caleb. You can introduce complications to any of these. You don't have to have a card or anything. You can just add something narratively that you think is a complication. And also people can start to, if you have cards, to try to take care of some of these things. We can play.
Because I don't have anything to fix anything,
Just break it some more.
I'm gonna make everything worse. So with the panic that's starting to arise within the people within the safe house, I imagine that there's some who have started to who believe Saris, and there's like a split. There's some who believe Tilly, and there's some who believe Saris. I'd like to think that I'd like to think that the side that believes Saris, some of them have started to act more hostile towards Paul. And some of them may be trying to like get in there and just, like, get rid of him. And that's where I think that becomes more complicated, because now we have to deal with that.
And a further complication is when Tilly and Saris go back into Paul's room. He's awake. He's calm. It's like, Tilly, you found me.
Yeah, Tilly is immediately just like rushes to his arms and is like, all right, what can I do for you? I can try to scrounge up some food. We got some stuff, but it's not, we don't have anything that's, we don't have any of your favorites.
Just seeing your face gives me strength.
Tilly does the classic woman in a period piece where she just kind of drapes herself over Paul's chest, just like head like down. And I don't think she cries, but I think if she was less of a tough person, she would be.
And as Paul is patting your back, he stares daggers at Saris. Yes, I'm evil.
Great. Arms fucking being broken.
Is the whole like Thriller thing where you're like walking hand in hand and he turns back and
yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that transformation from that music video is good, but also
Yeah.
I know, it gave me nightmares when I was a child. But
that's neither here nor there.
I'm trying to remember which one was what trouble was the Eight of Hearts.
The Eight of Hearts is just Saris is dissociating about how impactful how much losing her shit is affecting her, in addition to now having someone who she trusted in the main group thinking that she's trying to keep her from her love interest, which is great. Since that said love interest, question mark, with a giant neon sign over it, just broke my fucking arm.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Things happen.
Love makes you do strange things.
I
You
think
break someone's arm.
I'm trying to figure out which is the more, because I have something that can fix either the broken arm thing or that.
Well, there's also the stove. You remember how the stove was a problem we started this
We
off
have
with?
4. We can eat cold food.
Yes, just perishables and apples and oranges. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Okay, so we have the stove, we have we have Ceres's emotional health, then we have Ceres's physical health, we have Paul, which is a king, and then we have the Jack was kind of the panic and distrust that is being sown amongst the people in the safe house, including ourselves. Okay, I can't do.
Gave us the worst set of things given our draws.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play this King of Hearts
Oh my gosh.
over the Jack. And Morgan has very kind eyes that at first glance are very warming and welcoming. And so he gathers everyone and he's, look, I know that this is a tough time and that there are a lot of things happening that we don't quite understand, and it makes us mistrust each other. But now is not the time of any to be at each other's throats. We must band together if we are to overcome any of this. And he calms down the like panic and fear that all the other community members are having. But
can I pitch that scene happens in the chapel of like you call everyone into the chapel and have this conversation.
He's like standing up there with like a book, no book in particular.
just a black book.
Just for the look.
Walking back and forth. We must fight together. We cannot be ripped apart by this madness outside.
It like makes references to like the good book here tells us, and if someone comes up to him afterwards, it'd be like, "This is a lunchbox, isn't even a book."
It's important.
Yes,
to
but
have,
it has the Lord of the Rings on it. See, and my axe, and all that.
a prophetic book.
But through my actions comes another thing that I think comes from the cards. Correct?
Yeah.
Do
So
I pull it out?
Drag from the deck and then put it there. And
I put it. I think. Do I put it over?
You put it separate because it's a new trouble basically, and then you might have to click it again to turn it over. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, fun.
Violence.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, do we get another king? No, a 10 of clubs, which does indicate violence.
We are drawing so well today, everybody.
This is the worst because here we go. Are you ready? I feel like because of this says because of the character's actions.
Yeah.
And I think they misunderstood what I was trying to get at. And they're like, no, yeah, we need to work together to rid ourselves of that evil dude in the room. Like, yeah. now both sides have been like, you know what? Let's come to a compromise. We'll just take him out and get rid of him instead of like killing him. And so now it's a big mob, and they just want Paul.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
And they I feel like because it's violent and could lead to physical danger or injury or death, I feel like they are fed up to the extent where, like, if you aren't with us, you're against us, type of thing.
Yeah. Well.
and so anyone who tries to stop them, they feel like is against them.
Oh. Okay, I think I know what I have to do. I do have a card that I can play. I'm gonna cover that angry mob with the Queen of Diamonds, which indicates potentially a dangerous object. So I think we'll call this a resolution of that problem. I think it may be more accurate to say it's an escalation. Which is Tilly's not going to let people throw Paul out of the safe house. So I think the shot, we have this scene of Morgan kind of being like, we need to come together and we need to get along, and people start like kind of like coming and being like, yeah, we do need to come together. We need to come together and get that guy out of here. And you just see Tilly run out of the chapel and like go into a room, come out of whatever room she's been staying in with like a shotgun, like a big ass gun, and goes and is standing like in front of Paul's room. So when people start coming, like when the mob comes out to start being like, we're gonna get rid of this guy, there's just Tilly with a gun and a look in her eye that says, over my dead body, you're gonna take my fiance out of here. So that's resolved. Oh no!
This is the worst.
God damn it!
The deck does not want us to win.
There's only 2 jokers in the deck, and we just got one. Okay, so
this is like the worst thing that could ever happen, correct? Like,
okay, so let me remind myself, because there is something specific that when it's a joker. Okay, jokers represent catastrophe, death, or doom. They can be played on any card to cover it. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, so instead of adding a new community card from the deck like a face card, when a joker is played, all players take turns choosing a card from their hand to add instead. The joker can't be a community card itself, so we do put it in the discard pile, but since it's been added from a consequence, the same effect takes place. So all of us have to add a card from our hands to the community pile to add the trouble. So this is basically like a tumultuous like catastrophe of like things happening, because which honestly
par for the course.
Yeah, if it's the escalation of it's gone from like we don't trust each other to we have to like get someone out of our community to I'm gonna kill someone. So the joker goes into the discard pile, but each of us have to play a card into the community. And
this doesn't resolve any of them. This doesn't cover. This is just what we're giving up in order to make this because of this.
Yeah,
I only
exactly.
got one more card, so I can't solve anything after this.
Okay, well, I'll just add a little problem. a three of spades. That's the lowest card I have in my deck right now. And I have to think of what that is. Okay. A forced shift in the perception of reality.
Does adding it though? This is a clarification of rules though. Mm-hmm. If it's ever added, the same effect takes place, and the effect is that players take turns choosing a card from their hand to add instead. Is that also affecting the story at this point, or is it just like it's a debuff effect that if it hits all of us? That's the only thing that I think is unclear.
Oh, yeah. Let me. Okay.
It doesn't specifically say it says we're adding it. You choose a card from their hand to add instead.
I think it's saying instead of adding a new community card, which are what the cards are called when you play them from like the flop or whatever. you take turns choosing a card from your hand to add to the community
instead. So it might be a whole ripple effect of all of us doing something.
I think it is. It is a little ambiguously worded, I think, but my interpretation of that is instead of the Joker being a community card, instead 4 new troubles are added, 1 from each person. That's
Jokers really suck in this game. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, so I've added a 3 of spades, and I think this is going to represent I don't know, I have to think about it. I have to think of what a puzzle. As trouble, spades are a puzzle or lock or a forced shift in perception of reality. I feel like I would have something if it was a higher, since it's such a low card. I'm trying to think of what's a trouble that fits that's not like the most dire situation. But do other people have cards?
I have something that could both to act as a resolution to it, but still be an exacerbation of previous things. Did you have a locket or anything that was significant between you and Paul?
I feel like we have to, yeah. Rings. I think we have rings. Because I feel like that's like if we play sometimes as like different, like from town to town. I don't think I said this before the stream, but I don't think I said this during the stream. Paul and Tilly have kind of been on the move. So I think from town to town, sometimes they're husband and wife, sometimes they're fiance, sometimes they're different things. But I think a ring is something that fits a lot of different scenarios that they could have rings. So I think that's what it is.
I think it probably makes sense, because if we're talking like it's danger loss of a helpful one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if during this particular arc you had rings on like you were married, which is part of the reason why people were siding with you. It's like, look, she's just trying to protect her husband. That was part of what made people sympathetic to you. I think the rings are gone.
Ooh, yeah.
I think to exacerbate that though, I will add 7 wealth assets or tools, which is that Saris gives up her rings that she's kept with her from her ex-wife so that you can have it. But it's like one of the last things she has of good memories from being with her wife. So I think that's because her mental health has not been dealt with either. This escalates it depreciates her well-being even more.
So what do you think is you're adding this as like because of the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that it wasn't like you were covering
I think the
cards.
Joker effect for all of us is that we lose a bunch of people to use shotgunning them. I think that's the most direct way to resolve the Joker.
Yeah. So I think what do you think is like where in the narrative is this happening that Saris is giving up her rings? Is this something that's like during the standoff this is happening, or people are noticing? Like,
I think it's post.
Okay. So that'll happen whenever.
Because I'm thinking it's like, because I'm still, we're doing the whole cinematic shots kind of vibe of this. I'm imagining it's like one of those moments where like you see the crowd trying to go, Tilly has the shotgun, and then the camera, you just hear right as the screen goes black, like a shotgun shot goes off. And then it's the card, a placard that goes up, or a title card goes up, and it says like 3 days later. And there's like half as many people at the motel as there used to be. Not because you necessarily killed them all, but like some folks might have just left.
Tilly's
like, I don't know if the rest of us would have let Tilly take care of half of our group.
We're all just scared of Tilly now.
But also, I know that Morgan and Caleb need to add something.
I think this is good though, because we're kind of like, this game is a lot of like in and out of character, so it's like at some point the ring thing happens, like, and we can, I think once we like have all the Joker like cards played out, we can kind of be like, okay, this happens, what's the order?
This is the proper timeline. But what did Caleb and Morgan want to add?
Go ahead.
Oh, I got this 2 hearts here. And so I picture it as like at the same time of this like standoff, out the windows on like fence posts, even on the ground, or buildings out in the distance, all these hundreds of like ravens just landed and just started cawing really loudly at the same time. And it kind of disorientates. That the word? I don't know. Disorients? I don't know, it does something. It does that to everybody. It makes everybody a little bit more agitated because it's rather confusing and everybody's in that state.
And for his part, I have the 5 of spades. The puzzle or lock. I think Caleb trying to avoid all the chaos of everything and the shotgun thing, because he's not gonna be around when there's guns going. No, he's young, but he's not dumb, totally. So he's just sitting on the kitchen floor trying to fix the stove, because it's what he does. And that's to solve part of the puzzle of fixing it. He needs a little bit more metal. Maybe like metal in rings.
That's so good.
Just melt down and plug the holes.
That's so good.
So while people are sleeping.
So I feel like this is, I feel like it's like if like kind of like non-linear kind of reveals are happening. So it's like Tilly has gone to like, I think I also know what, because I played the 3 of spades, but I hadn't thought of what it represented. Mm-hmm. I think we have this escalation of people like being like, we got to get Paul out of here. Tilly goes over with the gun. I think what happens is someone gets up to like Tilly has the gun, and at first everyone's like, okay, we're not going to be interacting with this. Someone says, do we even know if she's married? She ain't got no ring. Like, and we see like this thing, and even Tilly has not really realized, like, oh my god, like, where is my ring? We get a flashback reveal of Caleb fixing the stove and like melting down these 2 rings. I think someone gets is willing to risk Tilly, opens the door, pushes up to her, and just like is able to get close enough to open the door. The door to the hotel room swings open, and the 3 of spades is Paul is not there. Paul is not in the room anymore. Instead, people can just see outside all of these birds that Extel introduced. And then I think we get the sound of a shotgun, the sound of someone's body hitting the floor, and then, Angela, as you said, this 3 days later graphic comes up, and we're down some people. And really quick, we just got a raid. A raid from Hex and Hemlock. Hello, Hex and Hemlock. Welcome in. We are playing The Last Hand, which is a horror tabletop RPG. And my character just killed somebody. So that's good.
As you do.
Nothing too intense.
Nothing too wild.
It's just one.
That's true.
Maybe.
Oh, you guys
it's
are
a shotgun.
Cthulhu, so
Nice.
you're already in the mood for some horror. Let me do this as well. So
Do all of those just stay now?
They all stay. Those are all ongoing problems. And
those are all problems we have to deal with. And guess what, everybody? We still have 2 more to deal with.
We haven't done the river.
Now we have the turd.
The turd of the river.
The river and the turd. So let's go with the turd first. Let's see what fuckery awaits us today.
I'm gonna cry. Yeah.
Okay,
All
good.
right, that's not the
It's always our
worst.
wealth assets or tools. Why can't it be more my emotional harm? Why does all my stuff have to go? So we've drawn a 6 of diamonds, which represents wealth assets or tools. So either the loss of something helpful or the introduction of a dangerous object.
Do you have an idea of what this is?
I do have I guess, because I think Caleb introduced the like using the metal to try and fix the stove, but we haven't covered the card, so it's
That's
not a
true.
fully resolved problem. So I'm gonna add that the issue, the gas line we found to the stove is beginning to leak. So we've had to entirely shut off the gas.
Good.
Now, it's not something where we couldn't start it back up again and fix the problem. It's just that if we do, it's risking a serious like repeat of the incident we just had that started off all of this. So it's like mid-tier where it's like it isn't something pressing, but if we want anything like warm food or even make use or to get a clear sense that Caleb's repair job fully worked, we need to both fix it and fix the gas line.
Yeah.
Because I think it was one of those like tried to fix it and it caused another issue because it wasn't fully resolved. So
Yeah.
gas line problem.
Oh,
Great.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. No heat. Yeah, we're good.
No heat. A lot of food. We just got some supplies, but the food we had before is gone.
Why you ain't eat it cold? Yeah. No, we're here for-
The 2 of Hearts was the crows, right?
Yes.
I
It was-
think
yeah.
I'm gonna retroactively, because I just realized I had a card that's really the. Oh wait, no, I could. No, I don't want to do the 3. I think is too interesting to. I think we should leave that paw missing. But the crows, I think the shotgun blast.
Keep
The
them
one
off.
good thing is the crows flew away.
Yeah, because other than that, they're just gonna continuously just just forever. It's
So
just-
that's the crows are gone. While people are thinking about if they have other things they want to resolve, or while Angela is deciding if she wants to pull another card for the river.
I want to be a dick to us even more.
Yeah. So
75
for
problems.
people who just came in, the game we're playing, you can't see this. We have a spread of cards that is reminiscent of poker. This would be kind of a wild poker game, but and we can play cards from our hand to try to solve some of these problems and inform prompts for the role play. At the end of the game, if there are any troubles left unresolved,
which is looking like it's gonna be. Yeah.
which we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unresolved troubles right now. Basically all of our characters die at the end. So those are the stakes. We are also getting pretty close to time for a break. So yeah, do we want to introduce another trouble? Do people have stuff that they want to try to resolve? What are we thinking?
I have no cards left, so I'm here for the ride until the next turn.
We're going to be at like 11 trouble. This will be the first time playing this game and we've just been so screwed over by everything.
Everything's bad.
I think the description of the game does describe it as a play-to-lose game. Which is
But,
We're trying.
it's a little bit of a fiasco.
We're supposed to die.
Yeah, that's where things go wrong.
Mhm.
Do it.
Yeah, I feel like we want another trouble.
So why
I don't
not,
even
you know?
remember what half of these troubles are. So I don't-
I think,
So many problems, you know?
let's do it in order as a quick review. Number
Yes.
4, the stove. Number 8, Sarah's emotional health. King. Fucking Paul gone?
Oh, and people
Yeah.
are still
Paul-
sick. Yeah.
People are still sick in Paul. 7, Saris's broken arm, which still hasn't been resolved.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
put the
she's
7 and 8 next to each other. So
Yeah.
that will
so
help
so
you
those
with
are
it.
grouped. 3. So yeah, King and 3 are good to stay paired with one another because
Yeah.
that is
Both Paul related. Whatever's
Paul
going
is
on
gone
with Paul, and then Paul is missing.
yeah. Whatever the nega Paul being here is, or the shadow Paul. It's shadow Paul. I like shadow Paul more.
Shadow Paul.
Or
yeah.
smoke Paul. Then we have 6 with the gas line,
Yes.
and then 5 was. I don't remember what 5 was.
5 was the ring.
5 was the ring. Yeah,
5 was the rings. Yeah.
being melted down.
5 was the repair job essentially. So yeah, maybe 5 and 4 should be next to one another as well. So move this one over.
So put that there. Okay.
That'll make it mildly easier for us
So
to
we can
understand how
remember.
fucked we are.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, and then the
and-
6 is the gas, right?
6
The gas line.
is
Mhm.
gas.
Yeah,
Wait,
6
what
is
was
yeah.
7?
So 6 should also be. 7 was Saris giving up.
Oh right. Yes.
Giving up her. Yeah. So the order is this. The cluster is 3 cards related to the stove,
Yeah.
and the gas problem, Saris's overall health, Paul, and then Saris losing her rings basically to make Tilly feel better. But I'm just gonna move that 7 over to the third set. Yeah.
Angela.
The second set is just Saris is no good,
I
bad,
feel like
terrible.
You have
horrible.
it out. You have it out for your character.
I really don't. I'm like,
Saris needs to sit in the kitchen with Kayla.
A lot of additional damage. Yeah.
Okay, so with
And
that,
emotional damage is the theme of the game.
that's true. With that refresher, does anyone have cards they want to try to resolve? Which I think
anyone have a card?
I
in general.
I only have a card that's not going to be good, I think, with how things are going. So I don't have anything. Cadence, do you have anything that you want to play to try to resolve?
Yeah, I can. Tilly's broken arm.
That is a jack.
That's totally fine.
So we will
It's
be
gonna come back.
introducing another card.
Tilly's broken arm, I think, is the 7
But it's
of.
Yes.
physicality
This is the broken arm, I think.
yeah.
Finally. Finally, you start. I mean, Saris
Yeah,
has
before-
Oh
Melt-
yeah, Sarah.
Before fixing the stove and accidentally cutting the gas line or whatever, and somewhere in there Tilly's arm got set-ish.
There's
And
arm.
we got
Yeah, Sarah's
sticks.
arm.
Saris, yeah, I don't know anybody
We
anymore.
got a sling. We got a sling
All
for
of us are
Saris.
fucked in some capacity. One of us has lost a partner. One of us is currently becoming displaced from reality. And then Morgan's over there just. The crows are talking. Caleb's doing the best thing.
I mean, I've
Caleb
incited
just
a
tried to
riot,
help.
you know? I've indirectly incited a riot, so that's fun.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah, that was a good move. So Caleb manages to set Saris's arm. We do then need to
Reasonably
introduce
straight.
a new trouble. Let's hope it's a low card. Oh, okay, good.
God damn it!
Queen of Spades. A force shift, a puzzle lock, or force shift in perception of reality.
I have a pitch for this. Although it's Cadence, it's at your discretion because this is technically your card. I've been trying to mentally think what could be happening with Paul, like what is kind of going on. And since this is a force shift in perception of reality, I want to pitch this to people to the table, and Cadence specifically, since it's your reveal, and also I want to make sure everyone's okay with this. what if we see a shot? So we're kind of getting into like the aftermath of the standoff. So we're seeing Saris say like, "Here are these rings because people don't trust you because you don't have your rings anymore." We see Saris's arm getting set. I think maybe we also see a shot of wherever Paul is. Like, I think maybe just we see like a shot like first of his face, and he's just like kind of walking somewhere in the town, and it pulls back for the reveal, and we can see that like some part of him, maybe like maybe on his face, like his neck or chest or something like that, we can see is starting to decay, which indicates that Paul is dead. Like, Paul is not
fungus
around anymore. But something that, like, it has not taken Paul's, like, mind, but has the smoke killed Paul and just has his body. How do we feel about that?
Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Okay.
Cool.
Because that fits because the queen is like kind of revealing trouble among us. So I feel like maybe that works. I also think that might be a good chance for us to take our break. So we are going to we're going to take a 15-minute break. So people in chat, if you just want to hang out, wait for us to come back, get your drinks, get your snacks, hit the restroom.
I have one last important question before we go.
Yes. Yeah.
With this reveal, does that mean we've proven the conspiracy theory about the Beatles? Because Paul's dead.
When I said Paul is dead, I was like, this is a joke for me. But it's apparently...
It's a joke for at least two of us, not three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, people in chat, take some time to think about the Beatles, I guess. And
get your albums out and play them backwards.
Yeah. Right. And we are going to take a 15-minute break. While we're on break, I have some little information with more like promos for the players. You can read more about them. But for our players, do you want to say goodbye to chat for now?
Bye. We're all dead.
Felicitations, adventurers, and welcome to the second half of our one-shot of The Last Hand, a Western horror tabletop RPG that is currently funding on Kickstarter. So if you've enjoyed what we're doing, you can check it out over there. And I'm going to give a quick recap of what happened so far, and then we'll get right back into it. Basically, our characters are holed up in a hotel in Paradise, Colorado in 1912. It's supposedly a safe house, although we did start off with a fire, and then my character's fiance was missing, and then we found him, and then he's dead, but is being controlled by, his body's being controlled by some kind of eldritch taloned creature. Excel's character whipped people into a frenzy by accident. Cadence's character stole stealing things from people. And Saris is mentally and physically broken. I feel like that's really all we need.
Thanks. You're not wrong, but also, gee, thanks.
That's the recap. We are going to bring it to the next turn, which means that it's going to be Excel's turn to be the dealer. One thing I forgot to say, actually, when we were on break, is, Angela, you get to determine something else that is true of it. So the only thing we have so far is it has talents. So you can determine another thing and let us know what that is. And I'll really quick, since we're not quite into it, I'll say hello, Dreamy. Dreamy, who's in chat, is the one who did the overlay that we're using for the stream. And then Melanie, one of my mods, said, this safe house seems pretty dangerous to me. Am I right, folks? So I would agree.
Yeah, very much was.
You know what, Melody, that you don't have to rub it in. We're aware that we're screwed. We're aware that every second we're drifting ever closer and closer to the end, but I don't need to remind you.
You're bullying
Everything's
us.
bad. It's gonna be great. No, yeah, it's fine. It's not like we're all gonna not survive this.
I think to highlight how things have been going, and also why we're only ever seeing like stuff come up in the morning, like we're seeing the aftermath of stuff. The thing I rolled for this, it hunts at night. Why everything the next morning keeps getting worse.
Nice.
Like, why is everything so much worse now? It's like because it keeps killing people at night.
That's really good.
right.
I'll hit the deal button so we can all get new cards.
Oh, wonderful.
And then
All right.
Xtal is gonna reveal the 3 cards for the flop.
We're gonna see what happens here.
We are already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trouble. This brings us to
Just gonna
11.
move these up a little bit.
I'll help.
Get up to 11.
All right.
It goes
Let's
to
see.
11.
Let's see what's behind door number 1. An ace.
Oh God damn it! We wanted an ace, but not there. For fuck's sake!
Maybe I should have dealt first.
Yeah, if you had done that, someone would have got that in their hands.
Jesus Christ! Like, what is your luck?
If you would, because you did take it before I hit deal, if you wouldn't have done that, someone would have gotten the ace in their hand. Not to put the blame on you, but
Oh yeah, no.
Just reveal the rest. Reveal the rest right now. Let's just see how
perfectly
fucked we are.
Okay, an ace of ace of spades.
spades, yeah.
Oh
and then a
God, you chose
7
the
of
death
spades.
card.
Right, and then there's a 9 of diamonds. So the ace is
Okay.
really a bad one. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. The first. Okay, so an ace. Okay, I gotta look at the- I gotta look
Yeah,
at this.
I just scrolled down to it. If it's a community card, which it is, an ace represents a problem that cannot be solved without another ace or a player folding. This is a good reminder that is a mechanic that we have access to. The challenge is nearly insurmountable and might be something that follows the characters from scene to scene as they run from it rather than resolve it. Which, that couldn't be us. We're not ending scenes with trouble unresolved. So just as a reminder, what folding means is you discard, I believe, is it your entire hand?
Yeah,
Yes,
you need
if
at
a-
least 3 cards.
If a player has 3 or more cards in their hand, they can resolve any trouble, even face cards and aces, by folding. When a player folds, they play all of the cards in their hand on a single trouble card and narrate how their character resolves it, all while becoming seriously injured, traumatized, or otherwise putting themselves directly in harm's way. This does not kill the character, but gives them a notable scar, either physical or mental, that stays with them until the last hand. And then if you happen to have an ace in your hand, the ace card is basically like a critical success if you play it. So unlike face cards, it is a perfect achievement, a critical success, or in our case, an insurmountable problem. So with an ace card, you wouldn't, if you solve any problem with an ace card, you don't introduce a new trouble, unlike with kings, queens, or jacks. So yeah, Excel, did that give you enough time to think about
Yeah,
what
so
this might be?
an idea for an ace card. Paul. Paul is dead. And for everyone, for our main cast here, we'll say, we all see Paul standing in front of us, and he'll like disappear and reappear in certain places, and he just stares at you, and sometimes he might like fling something towards you, even if it may not be real, but it's a forced shift in perception of reality. So you're seeing this like specter follow you, and he has like these like enormous raven wings behind him, and he'll just do things to like scare you, basically. To move on to the next one, this is also a spade card. It's a 7 of spades. It's for Tilly specifically. Paul speaks. and he says the worst things that you could hear from him. You let me die. You killed me. You let them kill me. And he says things like that over and over again. And we lose another tool or something important for the next one. I think during a moment when like when the crows were outside and they scattered, a bunch of them just like rammed one of the walls and like broke it apart.
Yeah.
And now there's a large hole in the hotel.
Yeah. I get to add a complication, not a card complication, but a complication to one of these. And I think the ghost of Paul that is speaking to me, I think the thing it says, apart from the things that you already said, which is like, I'm dead and it's your fault, I think that the thing that Paul says that Tilly can't shake is, he says, I should have left you with Hank, which is Tilly's husband that they were on the run from. And I think that's the thing that she can't. The death, she can try to do as much as she can to be like, that wasn't my fault, I was protecting him. But the fact that she knows that like Paul would still be fine and everything would still be fine if she never would have left her old life, I think that's the thing that she can't just shake off. Oof.
Oh yeah, it's a great job.
So might I suggest something for the sake of ease? Because I just spent a couple minutes just writing out all of our troubles in order, and some of them feel like they overlap to the degree that, for the sake of practicality, maybe we can remove some of the troubles, not because they're not present, but I think a new form in a much more intense way has gotten it. Because right now we have, for stove-related stuff, we have gas line broken, patch on stove not done, stove broken.
Yeah.
I think we could probably get rid of the 4 and just leave the other 2, because now it's a matter of the gas line is an issue, and we need to fix the actual stove in general. We need to finish the patch job. So I think 4 can be removed if that works for everybody.
I need more rings.
Yeah,
you need the ring. I need more rings. We have Sarah says mental health crumbling and the rings are gone.
Yeah.
I think both of those are fine to stay. I think then the next set is Paul is gone. Paul is sick. People lost in the riot. I think the lost in the riot is a severe one, but I think we can move it because now it's just until we get more people.
Yeah.
Either that one or the Paul is gone.
I think
we could probably remove.
Yeah, I think the 3 of Spades we could just put in the discard pile, because while Paul is missing, we do know that he's dead and that like we kind of know a little bit about what's going on with him. So I think that's a good idea. Because it's not going to change the outcome necessarily. I still don't think we're going to take care of all these cards.
No, I don't think so either. I think there's a lot of these that we're still pretty goddamn fucked on, but
yeah, I think that's
it's a matter of the degree of fuckery.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so the ones you just added, Xtel, is the ace is that Paul is haunting us.
Paul is haunting everybody.
That Paul is also haunting me more specifically. And then what was the 9?
The 9.
The wall.
The
Oh, the
wall
wall.
is
Yes,
large.
yeah.
There's a large hole
So we've
in
got the
the.
Beatles and we've got Pink Floyd.
Here we go.
Okay, and then I think if at any point, Angela, you think of a complication that you want to add, not as a card, but I keep forgetting what it's called in the game. The blinds. If you want to add a blind.
Blinds.
Um,
Yeah, I think it's more fun if we wait on the blinds. I know the book typically has the rules as written. It's blinds go after this. The first blind
Yeah.
happens at some point after this, and then the second blind. I'd like us waiting and implementing it sometimes even after we resolve another problem because I think
Yeah.
it makes it more interesting.
I think
It makes the flow of play simpler.
Yes, I think that's true. I also think. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I was getting confused with something else. Okay. So where we are now, Axtel, would you mind, now that we know what the troubles are, would you mind setting the scene for us as to like these things being revealed or what the mood of the hotel is right now, or anything that you have in mind to like jump into the scene?
Since the wall, we'll say the wall happened the other night, so it's kind of been opened, and I would say because of that, a lot of people have moved to like one side of the of the motel. Like, it's not fixed, but it's just like, like we're staying away from over there for a little while. So I imagine everybody's kind of in like one big common space, wherever that may be, the chapel or lobby or some sort. I'm not sure. And the way I think of it is that Morgan is sitting down and he's again whittling at a stick, and then he sees Paul in front of him, and you all see him react like something just got like he was trying to dodge something, and then in subsequent order, then Saris, and then Caleb. Paul appears in front of you two, and then also throws something, and then finally Tilly, instead of throwing something, he says something to you, and Morgan just goes, oh shit, okay, like, wait, did y'all just see that? Am I the only one?
If you saw what I saw, then yeah, no, you're not.
What?
That's not good, right?
We must have done something. We must have done something for this to be happening to us.
What did you do?
I think Tilly just like kind of like does like kind of like a praying position and is just looking like up at the sky, and she's just like, I'm sorry that I'm sorry I left Hank. I know infidelity's a sin. I'm sorry that I shouldn't have taken the money. I needed it, but he needed it too, and please just I think Paul's been taken from me. I think I've suffered enough.
And did it work?
I feel the same.
There's something that maybe it's me. I remember when it all started, that it called to me. It says something. Maybe it's following people at once. And then did it appear to any of y'all?
You talking about Paul? Or you're talking about something else?
No, you've never experienced okay, scratch it. It's fine.
I just spilled my secrets. You can't start to bring something up that could change our whole situation and then tell us it doesn't matter. It's not important.
There's something out there. Okay. When it all began, I was in my room, and through the mirror, it called out to me something, whether it was evil or not, I can't say, but it was something that, yes, whatever it is, it's not good. Ghosts, birds, fires, it's because of it. Come on, you can't. You had to. Am I the only one? Maybe it's just the ramblings of an old man.
Or maybe whatever it is followed you here. Just saying.
I think it followed a lot of us here. It's enjoying itself, feeding on all this.
I'm tired of hanging on to things that aren't mine. I'm going to spend. I have a 10 of spades. And is it the 7 of diamonds that is Ceres's rings?
Yeah.
I'm going to play it on that. And go over, like, take the rings and give them back to you and say, whatever happened with Paul, whoever he is now, I don't know, but these are yours, and I think if anything I did to bring evil here was hanging on to too much stuff that wasn't mine. I think you still have a need for these.
Let's put it to some good use on something else, I think. I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend 7 of hearts on the issue of needing like other rings, because I think a lot of us are torn about whether or not we're gonna need it. Whether whether or not we need to solve that, because I know Caleb and I think someone else in the group who's been hearing us like talk about this like kind of pipes up. I'm just gonna give her name of like Josephine, and like says, I heard it folks needed rings for something. Why don't I give you whoever can make best use of this? If it makes it easier on us for the long run, then do what you can with them. And I think Saris takes the rings and then passes them over to Caleb. And it's like, well, you got what you need. Something. At least start fixing some stuff up.
Good meal will make us all feel better, won't it?
Just like I said, it's a start.
If we can get the stove fixed, at least I can maybe make something warm to eat and settle everyone's nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to eat would be good. Yeah.
I think I will also spend an 8 of clubs, which says violence, physicality, or vigor, and I think Saris works with Caleb to help finish, like, just resolve the stove issue, and also works a good chunk of the night to just be like, I'm tired of this thing being a problem. Can you fix it? If how long do you need? What do you need me to do?
Yeah.
You are I will take any order you give me to fix this fucking stove. I'm so tired of this thing.
I love that too because it's like we're all like being haunted by a ghost and everyone's like, all right, we need to focus on something.
We need food.
We need to focus on something
Because we could tell. No, I do have one other thing I can add as well.
Yeah.
God, I don't want to play this card. I really don't want to play this fucking card. Oh God, but it fits. It fits too well. Christ, we said that seven of clubs, 7 of spades is Tilly specifically being antagonized by Paul, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Jack of Hearts to get rid of it. I think Saris is gonna go, like, after everything's done, and is just gonna like check in on Tilly alone, like knock on the door and be like, "You still up?"
Well, yeah, it's not easy to sleep when your fiance, love of your life, is popping up every once in a while in your mind or in reality and telling you all the things you've done wrong.
I don't think you did anything wrong, Tilly, at this point.
Somebody
You
did.
fucked up, and we're paying for it, but difference between that and continuing to be a fuck up from it.
How'd you end up in paradise, Saris?
So this isn't the first time I've dealt with whatever the hell it is. Last time I saw it, I didn't even know what it was a thing until after this all happened, but I remember being at somewhere, hell, I don't even remember what the spot is anymore. It's years ago. It's a church, I think. I was just going, and it was a few days after we decided that my wife and I, or my ex-wife, I should say, she was gonna take our kid, and Julia, to head off. I'm a bit of a screw up when it comes to money and taking care of folks. I'm not good with that kind of thing, and I was never gonna be able to take care of her well here or just on my own.
If it's
Amelia was.
Oh, go ahead.
Amelia was always a lot better off than I was in a lot of that department. And I think you see her, she's had this relatively like direct tone and been very measured whenever she talks, but you see like she loses that, and you see like more hints of like some kind of accent from somewhere else. It's probably been like a hodgepodge of things that's come up from how often she's traveled. And I'm being honest, I was still pretty mad at her when they did end up leaving, even though I knew it was the right thing to do.
It's only human.
And yeah, well, you don't always have the luxury of thinking that you're that kind of thing sometimes. And after all of this, I barely even consider myself one as is.
I think
Too much of a mess.
Tilly's gaze like softens as Saris is talking, and she like puts her hand out like kind of in like a gesture of like offering like physical touch if Saris is like open to that, and says, if it's any solace to you, I think you did the best thing you could to take care of your daughter by making sure she didn't end up here with us, whether you knew it or not. You took care of her.
I tried, but it wasn't exactly the best. And even when the separation happens and you know it's for the best, you're still angry. And you wish sometimes terrible things for that person. I remember the sound of feathers, of wings. Just a whole crowd of them. Just a whole flock of them just descending down the church. And I had a chance to help people. I heard them all crying out, "Emily, Emily, help us." And I said no. Because for a minute I thought I saw her in the crowd and I didn't want to help. I didn't want to help anybody.
Tilly had been like kind of gesturing like a hug or something like that, but as Saris is talking, like slowly pulls away and is like, what are you saying right now?
I'm saying that I don't think for what I've done, and when I realized too late when I tried to help again, folks are already gone. I think whatever this thing is, it wants all of us. But if there's an option for anyone else to live and I gotta go, then I gotta go. I ain't afraid to die. I'm just afraid of not helping. We're not trying to do some good before I go.
We gotta make it out of here, Saris. I mean, how are we gonna handle anything that's happening if we're going into it the mindset that we may as well die, may as well let it take us? You may have given up on yourself, but I ain't giving up on me.
I don't think it's a matter of wanting to give up. I think it's a matter of there's only so much you can try and tell God that you can play dice against them and expect to win.
I feel like that's like such a good...
No, I have one more thing because of the card that I drew.
Yeah.
I drew an ace of clubs.
What the hell?
I know exactly what happens. If you're okay with an escalation in that moment between them,
I think it's good. Yeah.
I think folks probably hear Tilly scream coming from outside the room, and probably Caleb and Morgan come up to see Sarah stumbling out of the room, a gash all the way across from her neck down all the way to the bottom of her stomach. Like a massive talon claw just raked across it.
Serious?
And I think Sarah's passes out.
Crap.
Oh.
It's an ace. It's gotta be like fucking terrible. And it's a violence card. I'm like, because I had thoughts about what a potential complication from that could be. But I think it being an ace of clubs, I think it just means that like with it removing Tilly being haunted,
Yeah.
It's like it's the monkey paw effect where you're like, I wish to not be haunted by something, by this anymore. I'm like, great, you're not going to be haunted by that. You're going to be haunted by your friend fucking getting carved right across the body.
Yeah.
And
That's so good because Saris and Tilly have already had like disagreements. Then it's like, okay, Tilly didn't do that, but who is gonna believe her? Like,
well, but it's also like, I think it's also a moment of like guilt for Tilly as well, because it's like she's done her best to remove the guilt and the trouble that you're focusing on with Paul haunting you.
Yeah.
So now you get to be haunted by this.
Yeah, I think then, like, it's like we see Saris passed out, the door is open, and we can just see Tilly with, like, the blood splatter, basically mirroring the injury that Saris has. So, like, across Tilly, like, from navel to neck, just, like, a splatter of blood, because I'm imagining we're standing right next to each other when it happened.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay.
Good luck, everybody.
Angela just leaves the call.
Hashtag, I'm pulling the turn now.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Tilly? God.
We lost Tilly. No, we lose.
Just a reminder, so the diamond can be loss of a helpful item. It can be also the introduction of something dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I have a pitch for you, Xtel.
Go. I'm ready.
What if when people go to Saris, in the wound is a broken off talon?
Yes.
So the dangerous item is a talon from it.
Yes.
Cool. Like, I'm dying and everything, but that's so cool.
Should I do the last one now too, or no?
Yeah, I think that would be good, because we did have kind of an extended scene, and I feel like
sure, let's make it work. Yeah, we got one more.
But that is like the pacing of a horror movie. Yeah, the river. Yeah.
There's one thing after another. Okay, it's not that bad.
Okay, it's not that bad.
It is violent though.
What I think happens is like someone's tending to Saris's wounds, trying to keep her stable, and I think they get scratched by the talon.
Oh.
Whether or not what happens after that, I don't know, but they do get scratched by it. You know, it's not an immediately bad thing.
What if? Because I think maybe, Caleb has been kind of tending to Saris before and kind of like fixing things. What do we think if Caleb is the one who gets scratched by the talon?
Cool.
Fun.
Good. So that's just something fun for us to deal with later.
It's a great time. Yeah, no.
I'll fix you now.
Good. Okay. Does anyone have other community or any other cards they want to play to solve any of these troubles?
Please.
I literally have. I can only solve one of them, and it's the one that I just introduced. So here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna solve the immediate, just like resolution. Morgan's just gonna go up to. Oh well, that's a nasty, and then wrap it with a bandage, as is his forte. Throw some aloe vera on there, wrap it with a bandage.
Gosh.
Like, no, you're right as rain. No, you're good. Are you okay? Yeah, you're not feeling weird, right? Those from that thing, right?
Huh?
I don't know where his accent went, but there we are. It's back.
What?
You got scratched by that. You got scratched by that thing, right, Caleb? Are you fine? Do you feel weird at all?
Feel normal?
On like a scale of 1 to 10. right? 10 being I will murder everybody here. A 1 being like I want to just eat a cupcake right now. Right? Where are you at?
For you, maybe a 9 for
Well,
asking all these questions that I don't know what's. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
all right. You can't be too careful. The thing appears to people. But if you're fine, it's fine. It's fine. Let's go get a cupcake.
Good.
Is it a red velvet cupcake? The red that's like my blood spilling out of my body.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant.
I'm gonna put these in the discarded pile.
Yeah, go for it. Are you feeling like that's because as the dealer, you do kind of get to decide when the scene is over?
I feel like now, unless someone else has like any resolutions they want to do for
What's
any
the
of these
Queen of
problems.
Spades now for?
I believe that was the.
I didn't have.
That was
it
the
on my
riot, I
list.
think.
Yes.
That was the riot, the effects.
Yeah.
Resolving it, I think, would mean like we get new survivors who have come to the motel. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of the idea behind. The only resolution we could have is we either bully or we barter with some people to get us to come here.
Oof. Yeah, that
They
feels
come
like
join us.
that feels like a natural place to have Cadence take over as dealer.
Oh God.
Also, just time wise, because we're at
Yeah.
9:30, I feel like
I'm
that's good.
gonna roll this dice here.
Oh yeah, I'll hit deal so everyone gets cards, so that we don't have a repeat of.
Another thing about it is that what did I roll? A 4. It rots from within.
Oh, that's so weird because that's already kind of what we had with Paul.
Yeah.
God doesn't roll dice, people. God knows.
Yeah.
We all we start a new religion right now.
All hail it.
So this is going to be our last turn, and then however things end up after this, we'll turn to the last hand, which is kind of the epilogue of the game. So we will start off, Cadence, with you can deal out 2 cards, and I think I'll shuffle the discard pile then, since we're out of cards.
Before or after?
You can take those 2 first, so we'll go through the deck, and then I'll put these in and shuffle them.
I like to be surprised.
And I think I
Shuffle.
Do I have to
You have to turn them over individually.
There is, I'm pretty sure, a way. Oh, here we go, flip stack. I was going to say, there's a way to do it. Okay, and then shuffle the deck. All right, so that should be shuffled. So you can take the next one, which means some of the bad cards did get back in.
All right.
Another ace, baby.
The Joker.
6 of spades.
Good.
Problem, puzzle,
One
luck.
of these... Oh, no, somebody might have the Joker in their hand. I was going to say, if we got through the whole deck, one of these might be a Joker.
God, well, finally a decent hand.
not the worst.
Ew. Okay, so for the benefit of chat, we've got a 6 of spades, a 5 of diamonds, and a 2 of spades. So relatively not too terrible. What are the new troubles that have been introduced?
Gosh.
Do we think this is the evening? If this is our last, cycle, and we know it hunts
Like
at
sunset.
night. Yeah, do we think this is sunset?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're in the kitchen cooking on the stove, which hopefully is repaired well.
Yeah.
Puzzle or a lock. Problem solving, shift in perception. Saris, with that wound and being more inhabited-ish by it, becomes less fearful, more calm. Trying to convince others that maybe it's not as bad. Because things are quieter now. Things are calm.
You know, being an apostle of a demon ain't too bad. You know?
Yeah, Angela, how do you feel about that?
I like that. I like it. I think I think another way of playing that too is that she is maybe going back and forth in her head as well about whether or not would that be the 2 card you're thinking, Cadence, or
6, I think.
6 is she's starting to feel like, so she's at least having doubts as to how dangerous this thing is because she's still alive. You know,
Yeah.
a wound across your neck, your body probably should have killed you, but
Right.
Yeah. Which is the card that's the... Oh, it's the ace, right? It's the injury, the wound.
yeah, I grouped them together to be 8 and A are related to Sarah. So 8 is her mental health, A is the wound and its impact on her. King is Paul being gone just in general.
Yeah.
So that goes with her
Ace
face.
is Paul just appearing now to haunt all of us, and Queen is we lost people. 9 was the wall, so we have a significant section of the
We haven't even
hotels. Right?
talked
I forget
about
what.
that yet.
Yeah, we have too many things to deal with.
That's
The
a lot
fucking
going
wall.
on.
It's probably towards the front.
The stove is fixed. Let's focus on...
Yeah, we're making
I don't remember what 8
cupcakes.
was. What 8? Which one was 8?
Oh gosh.
Good question.
Can we get rid of it if we just don't remember?
We've had so many
The rules
problems.
do say to keep track as we do them. And
I
I have not been. I keep getting so enamored with what's going on.
Well, also, we
oh,
had
the
so
8.
many problems.
Is the 8 is the Talon, right? That we have a Talon,
Oh, right.
right? Isn't that what
yeah.
it is? Yeah.
The Talon's been present, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's the danger of something.
Yeah. There we go. How could we forget the Talon?
So right now we have the new troubles are Saris is starting to lose her shit a bit around it in terms of
And-
doubting how
Yeah.
dangerous this thing
Seeing
is.
it's not as bad.
Yeah.
6,
Is the 6 was the 6
Right.
Saris's calmness, or was that the 2?
oh, the 6 was the calmness. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 is the
Put that over there.
calmness. 2, I think, is trying to figure out how to fix a hole in the wall. Maybe if we get around to it. I don't care. I don't know.
Could the 2 be, because it's relatively trivial, could the
Yeah.
2 be, if it's something related to the wall, that there's like pests or something, that it's like there's animals that are coming, like it's not it,
Oh,
but
God, we got
there's
a
like
squirrel.
birds and yeah, stuff like that, where it's like, oh, this isn't great. This is a reason why
Some
we should have
rodents coming
walls.
in trying to steal the food or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, get out! Get out!
So that just leaves
Oh,
the
look.
5 of diamonds.
Dangerous object. Caleb has a talon.
Oh my god. Caleb,
Great.
just to
Did it like
clarify,
grow from from the wound?
Fire's too messy.
does Caleb have the talon from Saris's wound, or does Caleb have a second talon?
From Saris's wound.
Okay. Good.
Since he helped
Yeah, it makes sense.
Try and patch her up.
Tied it up and.
Okay.
So Morgan probably dealt with Caleb getting hurt, but didn't prevent the talon transfer.
So we just see like.
Yeah, that's how he got hurt. He pulled it out and said, "How sharp is it?" Oh crap! Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to play something to help us? For the love of God.
Let's see.
Okay. Go ahead.
You go.
6.
So good news. The only way that you can stop an ace is with an ace.
Yay.
So I am going to use the Ace of Hearts, which is humanity, empathy, or life. I do feel the most pressing need is to tend to Ceres's wounds, as she has been almost destroyed. So I think
what a good week for me.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense for Tilly to be doing that because it happened like when Tilly was right there. So I think if we're getting this like thing of like it's about to be evening, I think the stove is here. The kitchen is probably one of the like relatively safer places. Or at least our perception is that it is. That Tilly has set up a bed in the kitchen so that she can be cooking and stuff like that, but also be tending to Ceres. And I think I think I'm trying to think of how this could be, because it's such a grievous injury and not that much time has passed. Like what do we think could be something? I almost feel like something supernaturally healing is happening.
There is an alternative. Yeah. That it isn't actually as grievous as we think it is.
Oh.
That it is a mass hallucination.
Oh, I do like that.
Because the content of the card being in place has to be something violence related.
Yeah.
But the actual reality of it does not necessarily have to be. So maybe like helping attend to like Ceres's like actual guilt over everything would do it.
I like that. And I think it also like comes from such a place of empathy because Tilly didn't feel like she was able to do this for Paul really because of everything that happened. So there is like a surrogacy kind of thing happening where it's like I can tend to Ceres, and I think because the injury is less grievous than it appears, I think it would be interesting if Tilly's perception is that this is a miracle, that the healing is a miracle that has happened, and that's a sign that things are looking up. That it's like, I gave the rings back, Ceres told me whatever it is that she's done wrong and confessed, and now miraculously this grievous wound is healing quickly. So Tilly perceives this to be a miracle and that things are looking up. I think that's a good ace. Yeah. So everything's fine now.
Everything is. I'm not about to die. Start. I'm not about to die now. I should clarify.
Yeah, that's true.
Later.
What were you gonna say though? I think I accidentally interrupted you, Angela.
No. I was just gonna ask if Extel or Cadence had any cards they wanted to play right now.
I'm thinking.
I will say something that we haven't done yet, that is a mechanic of the game, is people can, which I just remembered, people can work together to solve troubles.
Oh gosh, I forgot.
Yeah, the catch with that, let me remind myself where that is. The catch with that is that if characters would like to work together to overcome an obstacle, the players combine matching cards from multiple hands and share narration duties when doing it. However, when discussing the cards in their hands, players cannot refer to the exact values, only the suits, and should refer to the impact of their contribution in narrative terms. If at any point players attempt teamwork and fall short of the target value, the trouble is not resolved, the failed cards are discarded, and players narrate how their character's effort fails while complicating things. I don't think you can do that with face cards, but for the 8, 9, 6, 5, and 2 that we have, if people do want to combine cards, you can't say like, I have a 5. Does anyone have
you
that?
have to
Whatever.
say it's by nature of I'm playing this suit, but that's it. That's sort of the trick to avoid the, well, why wouldn't we just say to each other what our number is? And it's like,
Right.
that's the only limitation. It only applies to numbers, and you can't say what number you are using. You have to just say the suit that you're using.
Yes.
And just to clarify, do they have to be, I know we're not saying the numbers, but do they have to equal to a number higher than what you're trying to solve, or do the players working together have to have the same number on their card?
It says matching cards. I'm not sure if it means matching. I'm going to assume that means suit. The suit has to match. I don't think it means the number. Well, obviously it wouldn't mean the number because we wouldn't have doubles. You don't have 2 7 of diamonds. So the suit has to match, and you have to be able to. So, for example, if 2 people wanted to work together to try to take care of the 9 of diamonds, people could say, I have a diamond that or whatever. I have a diamond that I'm willing to play. If someone else also has a diamond, you can basically, multiple people can play them at the same time. If it doesn't beat the value, so if it doesn't equal 10, then the trouble remains and the cards that were contributed are discarded. So it's a risk. But yeah.
Because both of you could end up playing like a low value card, assuming the other person is playing a high value card, and then you make this even worse for all of us.
Or you could burn 2 high value cards and spend like more than you need to solve the trouble.
Yeah.
Like the other thing.
So it's definitely, it's still this game is not about finding a safe option. There's just less risky options is the goal.
Yeah,
it's just like, how much do you want to sacrifice?
Yeah. So with that being said, do people have other things that they want to play to try to resolve things?
I have a card here that I'm gonna try to help Saris's Saris's emotional damage.
Saris is being tended to by
This last turn is, hey, everyone remember the gal who's been fucked up this entire week. It's been her worst week ever.
It is like that TikTok audio where it's like her arms were cut off, her legs were cut off.
Everything.
That's Saris.
So Morgan's just gonna approach Saris and go, glad to see you upright and walking around again. This is good.
Honestly, I'd much prefer just being able to do more to help folks, but I suppose that this is where I'm at.
Because of the nature of the card, this Morgan's gonna take a certain stance when talking to you, and he's just gonna go, what are you talking about? Like, you have done the most, and if not, then at least the second most. Like, you have done so much for everybody, and I don't want to hear none of that. I wish I could do more. You have done what you can, and that's all anybody can do in this life, especially in this situation. So do not do that to yourself. Some of these people depend on you, and well, you're good at being depended on. Depended on, depended by, You know
Words
what I
aren't
mean.
words are never my strong suit. Words are better yours, and even when you mess up, you still sound good.
Oh,
Don't
thank
worry,
you.
Morgan.
I was someone public speaker back in my day.
Well, you did well. You did it well. It shows. Well, whatever kind of speaking you did, it carried through with it, even in a shitty situation. And she's like holding on to her stomach, just like, ow, every.
The pain will go away.
Oh,
You'll
sorry.
experience it again, but
Yeah. All right. I'm asking you only because I don't want to assume, but I feel like you might have found this by some reason. Do you happen to have anything strong that I could have with this?
I'm a 50-year-old man in the Old West. What do you think?
I love a man who's prepared.
He pulls out
Just
like
like-
the strongest bottle of Jack
It's like
anybody's
Jack
ever
or whis-
seen.
Yeah, it's fucking Jack. It's like 20th century Jack Daniels disappears out of nowhere.
Like
a
so
big jug
strong.
with an X on it.
Yeah.
You know why we were so sad about losing the first Coke? Because the first good bottle of Jack Daniels was in the Coke. That's why it got worse.
My flask that had my good stuff was in it.
This is my flask that has the second good stuff in it. But yeah, no, that's really sweet. It definitely like helps take care of her a lot for that one.
I like that.
And one thing Caleb wants to fix is that hole in the wall because there's a flippin' squirrel.
What?
Play a Joker.
What the fuck? We have so many problems right now.
Cadence came here for violence. Oh my god.
The
that wraps
fuckery
up,
of it all.
That does wrap up like the scene.
That does.
It says
So-
it ends the scene.
which
Everybody's going to bed and
essentially
Caleb's fixing the wall and
ends the game. Okay.
let's use this talon to see if that will cut through, make it nice straight hole.
Love it.
Okay. Whenever Joker is played from anywhere, it ends the scene with any other trouble left unresolved. The player that played the Joker then narrates the end of the scene with the trouble getting out of hand, cascading into additional complications, injuring characters, killing NPCs, using that. Oh, we did it wrong the last time. I just realized. we should have ended the scene after the Joker, and I didn't do that. Because we are coming up to the end, a little pressed for time. I think instead of doing the same thing where we add cards from our hand, I feel like Cadence, I think you should just have free reign to narrate whatever is happening because of this, and then we'll go to the last hand.
All right, so everyone's drifting off to sleep as best they can after this horrible day. Caleb doesn't want anything else coming in, so he goes to that hole and uses this really sharp talon to cut the wall so, it's nice and straight. And he keeps cutting the wall nice and straight. He keeps cutting the wall nice and straight till there's no wall there. And all the crows that were outside are now in.
Good.
With an army of squirrels.
Caleb is now become Squirrel Girl. That's what we're saying.
I'm just gonna say right now, Angela, before we started the game, was like, Caleb is gonna kill us all.
And
it turned out to be.
Was I wrong? Was I wrong? I was not wrong.
And anybody who would sleep with their door cracked open, the critters got in there during the night.
Oh my god.
So glad I sleep with my door closed.
Door slammed shut. So this brings us to the last hand, which means out of the cards that people have in their hands, you are supposed to assemble the best poker hand that is possible for you. And if you don't know poker, like I don't, there is in our shared doc, I think at the bottom, that has poker hand ranks. So you assemble whatever you can, and then that's the order that we go in resolving, basically the aftermath of what happens. Which I'll read the tenor of this. If there's any unresolved trouble left over from any scenes in the story, it is still out there. It may not be seen anymore, but it isn't gone forever. Any player with a joker still in hand must narrate how their character becomes corrupted by it and continues life as its follower. And for each remaining community card during the last hand, a character dies in their epilogue due to the events of the game.
So we're all dead.
We're all dead.
Great.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
there's like 10 cards.
Using
Using the cards in your hand and the remaining community cards. I forgot about that. The players assemble the best possible poker hand to determine their rankings. Characters die in the epilogue, starting with the player who had the lowest rank hand up to the highest rank. If there is a tie, the player who is most recently the dealer is considered higher rank. So that's why it's like poker, because you can use what's you can use what's out there. So I'll give everyone and you leave the if you're using a card from the community deck, you leave it out on the table,
Okay.
like poker. So multiple people can use the same card. Okay, that changes then, because I thought I had nothing, but I actually might have. I have to remember what poker.
This is where I just look at my hand and I'm like, huh. Suddenly Caleb may not have actually fucked me over as much as I thought.
Yeah.
By me not playing cards, I might actually last a little bit longer.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Apostle of Raven It.
Okay. No, that's not. Okay. I think I have 2 pairs. I think that's the best I can do. Oh no, I have 3 pairs. I have 3 pairs. Oh, that's not a thing.
I was gonna say, wait.
Be like 3 pair? How the fuck do you have 6 cards in your hand?
Well, because
3 of a kind?
I have 3 cards, but there's one. Yeah, I have 3 cards in my hand, but there is a duplicate of each card in the community cards. But 3 pair is not. It goes 2 pair to 3 of a kind. Do I have 3 cards of the same value? No. I think the best I can do is 2 pair. Yeah. Yeah, so I have an 8. How are other people looking?
I think the best I got is a pair.
I have 3 of a kind.
Okay.
I have 1 pair.
Okay. So the order that this goes in, this is so fitting. In the aftermath of this, we all are dying. And unfortunately, we start with Saris. So what's
Is it right, because I'm 1 pair
you have 1 pair.
with lower value than yours.
I have
Because I have
2.
6.
Oh yes, I have 2 pairs.
Oh, you have 2 pairs.
I have 2 pairs, so I have.
Yeah, so you have 2 pairs. So you have 8. So yeah, so Taylor is 8. There's a 3 of a kind from Cadence, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Cadence, they are 7. I only have 1 pair on a 6, so I'm 9. Extel, what do you
I also
have?
have 1 pair on the 6.
So.
Oh, so I think we both die at the same time.
Its ties are broken by who
Together.
was dealer most recently, so it would be.
It was me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you die first. Sorry, Morgan dies first. For some reason, I thought Morgan had 3 of a kind.
It's okay. I'm the oldest. It makes sense.
Oh, no.
He dies peacefully in his
the
sleep.
dealer, wait, the player who was most recently dealer is considered
Oh.
higher ranks. No, I die first.
Okay. Sorry.
But also fitting. Either way is fine. I'm okay with this.
Okay, Saris dies first.
Love new games.
I was right the first time.
Don't doubt yourself. Just because you're bossy doesn't mean you're not right.
I needed to
Sometimes the
hear
boss
that.
is right.
You have to believe.
Yeah. What's happening to Saris?
So I think it's like right before dawn. Like we're talking like an hour before dawn when shit just hits the fan. Like I think it just reaches a head of just so many of these different things start being around the area. And I think even in a weakened state from her bed, like in the kitchen or near the kitchen, she hears stuff and her immediate thought is, I need to warn as many people to get out of here as soon as possible. And I think I think maybe someone left her with like a pistol, like just in case or something really bad. And so I think she's like looking at it. She's got 6 shots in it, which is not a lot considering there's a bunch of fucking birds everywhere and like little critters that I'm gonna reimagine that they all have the voices of Paul and her ex.
Oh,
Like there's just skittering happening, and that's what Emily is hearing this entire time. I think she's realizing there is no way she can actually deal with all of these things. I think yeah, I imagine we probably had something like either a dinner bell or something to make a loud racket when need be, just to announce like food's ready. I think she goes out to like the part more the open space on the side of the motel. And I think she like sets the gun ready and she fires off once into the air. So it's loud enough so that everyone else has a chance, she's hoping will wake up. And she says, my name's Emily Ramirez, and I'm not afraid of you fuckers. And she just like whatever creature she sees going for Tilly or Cadence, or not Cadence, Caleb, or Morgan's rooms, she just takes there's like 3 shots to each of those, and she's getting like scratched, clawed at. They're basically starting to like tear her apart. She's bloodied. She's in a pretty bad state. But she has 2 shots. And the horses have been set aside far enough away so that if maybe someone did manage to get out of this, maybe they could do that. She fires 1 shot left to scare off anything that was going for the horses. And she has 1 shot left. She's like on her knees looking at whatever's coming at her next, and then she just sees her ex just come up to her and just like hold her very sweetly in her hands, saying, "Don't worry, you didn't matter much anyways." And then it's just claws just bring her down to the ground, and she's gone.
Ugh.
This was never going to end good for her, I think, is the takeaway. There was nothing good for her.
All right. What happens to Morgan?
Morgan is asleep in his bed when it all goes down. And he hears the noise from outside and the gunshots, and he sits up in the mirror of his room. He sees fire. There's no fire around him, but it is inside. Everything is burning in the reflection. And in the flames behind him, in the reflection, he sees flamed wings and talons as it starts to wrap around him. And he sits up and scuffles out of bed, and he, no! And from his arm, the bandage, the feather burn just erupts flame, and like flame crows start to claw out and encircle him. And he reaches into his pocket, and I imagine some of the like crows have gotten into the actual crows have gotten into the room now, and they all just kind of like line up. The room itself is not actually on fire, but in the reflection it is, and they just line up on the bed behind him and look at him, and there's an oppressive feeling. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small the head of a bird, and its mouth opens, and it speaks to him, and it says, "You should have listened to me. This is how you die." And then there's like a scream that's cut off from him, and he's, if anyone finds him in the room afterwards, just only his trench coat and his clothes remain, and inside there's a pile of ashes. And his pocket watch opens, and it just keeps ticking.
I think as soon as Tilly hears the commotion of other people, of the scrabbling and people, I'm sure like other people who are here are like yelling, screaming, there's a commotion. If a Joker had not been played, I had an ace that I was going to use to try to take care of Paul. So I'm thinking Tilly's headspace was, tonight I'm going out, I'm finding Paul's body, and if the body can be destroyed, the ghost will stop haunting people. It can be pushed out of the hotel. Even if we can't completely destroy it, we can at least destroy its physical presence in paradise. And so as soon as there's noise happening, Tilly gets up, puts on her snake stomping boots, grabs her shotgun, and just busts out the window, because she's on the first floor, busts out the window of her room and just gets going. Is like, okay, things are popping off. I'm taking Paul out if it's the last thing I do. And I think behind her we can see like crows from all over paradise just surging in black clouds towards heaven's rest. But she's just, got her gun and she's headed out. And I think the next thing that we see is just the outline of Paul in front of some other building. Let's say it's the church. That's dramatic. The church in paradise that is engulfed in flame, and just Paul's outline standing there. And Tilly says, "I've made my mistakes. I'm not going to let my weakness for your form be one of them." And she's going to cock the shotgun and shoot. And as the blast goes through Paul's body, I think it is just a sign, like just decay. Like having been barely contained by Paul's body. But in that moment, and I think there's a moment where we just see his body kind of falling and the decay. And for a second, Tilly thinks that everything's okay until she feels the same decay taking over her body in that moment. And I think the last thing we see is just her form also falling to the ground. And just like, very like Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever that one, where it's just like, scene. Yeah. Sorry.
I've never seen it completely.
Yeah.
But you know the scene. You know the scene.
I know what the first second is.
Yeah, you and me both. And that's Tilly's unfortunate demise, which just leaves us with the architect of our doom. What happens to Caleb?
At some point, probably at sunrise, Caleb just comes back to himself and sees what he did to the house and all these creatures. And yeah, I think I screwed up once too often. Takes all the bits of wood and lath and sets it ablaze and just sits with his legs dangling over the edge of the floor into the bright sunshine, watches the sunrise, and waits to be taken care of.
Oof. So that's how the game goes, right?
Yeah.
Yay, we win!
That's how the game goes, where we just keep playing face cards and getting nothing but face cards and a joker. God damn it, our luck was so bad.
It's the way to live, you know?
No, it was the way to live.
The house always wins. That's what we've learned.
We were doomed from the start.
There was no chance for us. Thanks for playing this game with me. This is super fun. We are gonna wrap up. So this time we're gonna do it in reverse order. For people who missed the beginning of the stream, we'll start with Xtal. Let us know who you are, where people can find you, and then other projects that you've got going on that you want people to know about.
Hello everyone. I am Extel. I have been Morgan Dumont, who's awesome. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Hive, I believe. There's only like 3 that I'm on, at Extra the King. Where if I forget to mention anything here, you'll find me talking about all the things that I'm a part of. But I am the social media manager over at Take Your Role, where I also run a Vampire the Masquerade chronicle called Blood Tax on Wednesdays. It's a very fun game. I think we're about to air our third to final episode, which I don't know if I know there's like penultimate, but that's like second to last. But anyway, but you can catch that on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. on Take Your Roll's Twitch. You can find us at Take Your Roll. You can find me on every other Friday, which this upcoming Friday I'll be on Tales from the Table, where we play an Expanse TTRPG, which is super fun, called Life on the Periphery. And then every other Sunday, which is also not this Sunday, as in tomorrow, but the next one, where I play on Altered Echo Archives, where we play a Cypher System game, Empyrean Rising, where I play a very fun warrior who's very chaotic and is a fun time, which I love. There's other things, but I'm forgetting them in the moment. So yeah, just follow me on Twitter. You hear about them all. But I'm glad to have been here.
Yeah, it was great having you. Great having you and Morgan. That is going to take us over to Cadence. Who are you? Where can people find you? What else do you have going on?
I'm Cadence. I can be found at Magdalene Bloom on Twitter. As a side note, that's my favorite character I played at the Bristol Renaissance Fair for almost 20 years. So yeah, I'm a little attached to that name. Um, what's going on? Just real life stuff. Like I said, dealing with moving, and I'm still job hunting. If anybody has a full-time job and doesn't care if I'm like over 30, that I can still work. And also my biggest project that's coming up is I'm going to be having carpal tunnel surgery on both wrists next month. Yay. So I'm looking for pain-free after that.
Yeah. That's big.
Oh.
And then that takes us over to Angela. Who are you? What else have you got going on? Where can people find you?
Hello there, lovely people. I have been playing Sarah / Emily Ramirez, who was fated to die, but at least she tried to do a good thing before she passed. And why am all my characters got to go this way? All my characters got to end up with either dead or dealing with similar adjacent matters of a sad nature. This is all my characters, but I do this to myself, so I can't complain. You can find me over at Phoenix24Fem on Twitter or on my Patreon at Philosophem, where a lot of my actual writing and music work is actually there. I think at last count, I have 58 poems that are on that Patreon, half of which are available for public viewing. I just posted a couple of love poems that I wrote for my partners for Valentine's Day. And as far as ongoing shows, I'm not particularly on anything because Lancer just wrapped up for us this past Wednesday. And the only other ones that are going to be starting soon is I'm going to be involved in a podcast. I'm going to wait to talk about more details on another time. And I'm also going to be potentially soon on a Pillars of Ink game happening somewhere else. I'm forgetting the channel. I think Neon Lights Roleplay is having me for that. And, I'm creative director for Girls Write These Worlds, so I have to make zines this year. 10 zines in a year, people.
Oh my
10
gosh.
zines in a year.
A busy lady.
I don't think it's going to be that much work, and then I say it out loud, and I have to have the realization of, oh, right.
I feel that.
You got it. I believe in you.
Thank you. It's good times.
Yeah. I definitely feel that. Speaking of being busy, my name is Taylor. I was playing Tilly, and I already forgot what my last name was in the game. I have some stuff coming up on this channel, so if you come back here on Wednesday, I'm running a one-shot in my Mouse Ritter series, so that'll be wrapping up. That's been 5 one-shots that are the same characters, but kind of self-contained stories, so that's going to be wrapping up that. And then next Sunday, so not tomorrow, but the Sunday after that, a Vampire the Masquerade one-shot. That's going to be the 3rd, I think, in that series. Maybe, actually, I think it's the 4th. Anyway, so come back for those. And then I'm also, my next game in the Incredibly Indie series, I'm going to be playing the solo game Bloodless to prepare for my Vampire the Masquerade game, because it is a game kind of inspired by Vampire the Masquerade, where you play as a vampire who's trying to survive the evening. So if you liked this, surely that will go well. But that's going to be wrapping up the stream. I'm going to go ahead. We are going to raid Super Dylan. They are great. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. It just says just chatting cozy stream, which sounds great. I'm sure that's the vibe we need now. If you are a subscriber, you can use this message and copy and paste it over there. If you are not a subscriber, never fear. We have this raid message that you can copy and paste to go show Dylan some love when we get over there. I think that is everything that I have to say. So with that, I have to make sure I have the right next thing set up. Do you all want to say goodbye to chat and goodbye to the YouTube VOD?
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
You.
Goodbye.
Take care of yourself, please.
Goodbye.
Stay safe,